2. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. A mic check. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. It's time to check the mic and best to bet. I'm about to wreck it to the leather. Jealous people hate but don't debate. Just check my measures. Electric by design. I even shine in stormy weather. Attempt to meddle and tether this mental treasure, and you find yourself embedded in the chasm in the desert. Thirsting for hydration, no libation, empty kettle. Take it to another level, add the bullet and the shovel. Got you on the bubble, double trouble. See you stumbled, and this about to get repugnant like a kitten in the rumble. Quick to fluff and tumble, best be humble when we come through, cause I have you stiffing under. Mama wonder where you went to.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. What you gon' do? It's the KCE crew. We making you look like Fu Manchu. Proper grasshopper who with the kung fu. Cut and slice nice like Benny Hanna do. Take quick bites like the tip of a piranha tooth. Go ahead and steal my mic. Watch it blow up right in front of you. We coming to give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Who do you think you are? You ain't gonna get real far. Driving your shifty car, following Diddy farts. I'ma be a Twitter star. I'ma be a Twitter star. Keep dreaming about how big you are, cause we about to pick apart everything that's in your heart. Control and leave you torn to shards. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. Selling junk like San Francisco. Wax on, wax off Daniel, son. Selling junk like San Francisco.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. I'm tripping cause my mind's gone from always seeing tragedy. Can't close my eyes cause it's around me, I just call it reality. Can't paint no perfect picture like an artist they can't sell. Is what they try to instill in me, but my pockets seem to swell. Doing it like them ghetto boys did it back in those days. And we been jamming Pippin Bun, long live UGK. And before Eminem, we had Bill and Gangsta Nip. But we don't trip unless we on the plane taking a trip. And these suckers trying to contest us, but they find out we ain't no busters. We much more than screw, we keep it gutter. Mic check 1 2, y'all cannot touch us. We don't be causing no problem, son. Coming at me like Daniel, son. You would get defeated, wax on, wax off, out to the righteous one.
1 2 1 2. That's mic check. 1 2 1 2. You already know. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Dude, I could blink my eyes and provide an entire fountain of sound effects pounding directly on your neck, having flashbacks of the tragic act back when the boom bap was replaced with pop rap or hip hop or whatever you call that. We need a lockbox or something to keep this weak pox from spreading. I'm heading outside of the outsiders, opening your mind wide. The silly rabbits are at it again, but they can't hide us. Sit tight, Mr. Hip Hop. We'll find your daughter. Ought to be easy. She emits a homing frequency. We picked it up back in '98, and we're actually surprised that it took us so long to triangulate her exact location. But congratulations, check it out. We about to get her right now. We already found the captors, trapped them and slapped them around. And burn the hideout to the ground.
Yeah, a 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Let's make it hot. A 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Y'all give me a second. Give me a second while I get myself together and get some more people in the chat. I'm going to play another one. I should be ready by the time.
And now, another major production.
I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some crickets. Yeah, hurry, honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. Yeah, forget the $1 million mission. Sometimes I just want to go fishing instead of physically grinding in the trenches. Finding me using my knowledge, intuition. Yes. Yeah, Chaka not talking while he so distant. Yeah, Chaka be talking but they don't listen. Yeah, he's sitting, his brain pumping like a piston. I've been chasing the twilight, now I've been bitten. The city's in my sights as if I was a pigeon. Your role is cast, your dialogue is written, it's past control. You're like a Sims minion, what to do now but roam around in and out of buildings. Seemingly living, touching ceilings, but there's no feeling. Willing and dealing, but really there's no winning. I'm sinning and sinning, so what? I'm defending stuff's like prison, stuck in the life out of river. I'm about to tell you what the real is, Deep down inside you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some cricket. Yeah, hurry, honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. They say they do it for the money and the power. I'm just trying to get some peace in the shower. Protect what's mine without being a coward. Watch loved ones take time to breathe in the flowers. I've seen these G's get knee deep in powder because he needs to succeed in ours. Fuck your lifestyle, it's weak and it's sour. Fuck your lifestyle, it's weak and it's sour. Watch I come through and do like I do. Watch he come through and lose like he do. I'm a Hebrew, he just evil. We both hate people and church steeples. One thing certain, demons lurking. They be stressing, we be surfing. She be twerking and it look like it's hurting. I be perping, close the curtain. They give you lithium to get rid of that shit? I'm about to tell you what the real is, Deep down inside you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some cricket. Yeah, hurry, honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. I'm about to tell you what the real is, Deep down inside you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some cricket. Yeah, hurry, honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. Yeah, you boys think you real. What is real? Whatever it is, it's not you. For real. You know what I'm saying? KCE, we coming. It's the takeover, bitch. Y'all ain't ready. This is some whole new shit. For real.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take my word for it. Look that shit up. Today, we're talking about stories. We're going to tell stories. I want everybody to tell me either a story or their story today. And I'm going to tell a story and my story. You know, because I got to be fair. So, a story. Let's start with that. Once upon a time, there was a guy. His name was Harry. The guy's name was Harry. He really enjoyed science fiction novels. So he spent most of his time lost in his head, in imagination, reading books after books after books. Didn't like to go outside, didn't like to interact with other people. He just kind of wanted to stay in his own mind and in his own zone. That's where he felt safe, because in crowds, he didn't feel safe. So one day he had to go do something outside. Being inside was not, he couldn't be inside this day. He had to go do something. So he goes outside. He has his anxiety attacks that he normally has. He takes some drugs or whatever to help him get through it. He works his way through his thing. And, then he goes to a bridge and looks over the bridge and he's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? He thinks about suicide. And then he thinks about his family, the ones that love him, the ones that care about him, the ones that would be hurt if he was gone. And he decides not to do it. So he works his way through his thing that he does, that he had to do. And then he goes back home and he's finally in his zone. He finally can breathe. And he's like, finally. And then an earthquake happens and he's sitting on his couch in his living room and a hole opens up in the middle of his floor and swallows up the couch and takes him down to the earth. And because he's a recluse type of person, nobody came looking for him. He was stuck in there for days and then he died. The end. How y'all feel? What's up, dudes? What's up, Pat?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Not a whole bunch.
That story that I told y'all is what I would do to my kids all the time. I used to read to them. I would read books to them. But sometimes when they brought a book that I didn't like, or maybe I was just tired of reading it, I would be like, well, how about I just tell you a story? I'll just make it up. And they're like, okay. And I would do that. And, I got good at it because it got to the point where my kids, and the other kids that came over to spend the night, they would want me to, they wouldn't want me to read the books. They want me to tell a story, something that was, and they knew it was completely made up and I was just pulling it out of my head as I go, but they really enjoyed them. And I would always at the end do like the one I just did today, like a out of the blue twist. And and that story that I told you was exactly how I would do it for them. No different. No different. I wouldn't soften it in any kind of way. But I think that's why they liked it. It was like they're waiting for that because they know something crazy is going to happen, but they don't know what that crazy thing is. And they're just waiting for it to happen. And like when it happens, they're like, "Oh, that's messed up." Like Deuce said, that's the same thing. They say, "Oh, that's messed up."
I'm sorry, guys. I'm coming.
You're almost there.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Deuce?
Man, pretty good. I hit a fucking deer tonight.
Damn. In your truck or in your own car?
918 Wheeler.
Damn. How does that affect everything? Like, because that's going to slow you down and everything. And then they're going to be like, what the hell? You slow down? Be like, damn, I hit a deer, nigga. What the fuck? It's going to take me a little while longer.
No, the truck's straight. We straight. The truck's straight. It did a little minimal damage, but we'll be good to our off days.
Yeah, so you're going to wait till you get off to fix the damage or whatever. So how did it happen? Like, I mean, tell us the story. That's perfect. Tell us the story of what happened with the deer.
Shit. And I was on I-10 there coming into Brookshire, just about almost out of the construction zone, come around the curve, and they got these barriers on both sides. And the deer was literally in the middle of I-10, bro. And I got on the brakes. I hit brakes, to slow up, because he was trying to get out of the way. Of course, they're startled by everything. and he went to try to jump that wall, man, and I caught him. Boom, hit him.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did he make? Did you killed him?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure he died. He got hit. He got hit by 78,000 pounds at 50 miles an hour. So I'm sure he's dead.
Oh, it's over with.
Yeah.
He might have had a few breaths later. He might have, blood was pumping, but he didn't last much longer. I guess I can give somewhat of a story based on, because he gave me an idea because of this deer thing. I'm a truck driver as well, and I've been, in my early years, I had to go all over the country. So I've, been in places that, it's cool, because especially you see in the world, some of these different places for the first time. And I guess another thing that I saw for the first time was a moose. Now, I'm going to tell you,
They're
because
big.
if you, humongous, like, and I had already, kind of heard stories from different truck drivers about, at least what not to do if you encounter a moose. So, of course, it never really got to that point of, because you said you'd never blow your horn, especially your air horn at a moose because it just makes them angry and they'll charge you. But man, I did not realize how big these things really are. Like this thing, the head is probably almost the same size as the damn windshield. Like, well,
in the truck windshield, the 18-wheeler truck.
Yes, not a S10 pickup. No, I'm talking about an 18-wheeler tractor trailer. And these things are huge. And they when they walking across, like, cause I'm telling you, man, like the one that I saw, I guess it was kind of like a bull. A bull moose, because they have the cow moose or whatever, the female, the bull. And this thing was so the horns on it was so wide, like, because I mean, you say the head was as big as the windshield, but with actually the horns, I think stretched past, was really past the windshield, probably a good 6 to 8 inches wider than the windshield. The motherfucker stood about as tall as the truck, like we almost was eye to eye. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, because somebody had, already told me, because they lived in that area. I was actually in Montana during this, when I saw this huge creature, and I guess based on the conversation that I had just recently had, maybe a couple of weeks before that, kind of had me on the lookout. But man, I'm gonna tell you, it was a an experience for me, because like I said, I'm from the South. I'm used to seeing little bobcats and freaking the little boars, little pigs, and we got a bunch of little stuff that can mess you up. But the moose was a different experience for me, man. Like, they're huge. So I guess that's a story for me to pass on to the people. And maybe I'll have something, for y'all a little later. Yeah.
What that makes me think about is how I used to see rabbits and deer all the time when I was a kid. Off of I-10, off of everywhere, almost all the neighborhoods you would drive around, there would be, especially rabbits, everywhere. And when you're driving on the freeway, or even some of the streets around Houston, you would see deer, early in the morning or late at night. You would see them like almost every day. It was very common. And this wasn't in the middle of the country. I'm not saying out there in the country with my folks. I'm talking about regular ass driving down I-10.
Yeah.
All this shit used to be the country at one point in time.
You know what?
So, I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No. I mean, I guess I was interrupt. I was really the one interrupting. You go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, I was just saying like because and the reason being, man, like that's one of the reasons why you got all of this wildlife. This deer was literally in the middle of the interstate because all of this is their land, bro. It's us that has come through and built up and developing all of this stuff, man. That's just making them, pushing them out. And then right now is bow hunting season. So you got guys and women, you know, women and men out in the woods that's bow hunting. They really kind of pushing them out, and then it's starting to get cooler. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, all of this was pretty much country at one point in time, man. But you know, yeah, I mean, I see a ton of them, man. But yes, like Pat was saying, man, those moose are huge, bro. They are extremely huge. Kind of terrifying if you ain't never seen one before.
Well, look, let me tell you something. I think I was driving through New Mexico, and this let me realize those deers are not the smartest animals, because I'm like you were saying, the whole on I-10. I'm on I-10 going through New Mexico. Now, I guess there is a little more, somewhat mountain range, but I'm actually coming through a town, a nice sized town in New Mexico. Or maybe it's like right when I'm getting into Texas from New Mexico on I-10. El Paso area, I guess you could say, like right when you get into El Paso. And dude, damn deer, I don't know, somebody must have scared the hell out of this deer, because he ran across the westbound side of I-10 through the median over into the eastbound side and right into the side of my trailer. I'm like, dude, like, you did not see me. Like, I mean, his life is gone.
They're like cats. I would say they're like cats. Cats are dumb as hell when it comes to like cats do really dumb shit too, like that, I think. But my point is that what Deuce was saying, this was all country and the development going out, and I know that's a part of it, but I just think that they were way more abundant, because the rabbits didn't give a damn about the development. They would be running in your backyard.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, there's rabbit running around out by my son's, and my son's mama. Like you can be just sitting on the patio and you can see rabbits just in the yard, almost like chilling.
Yeah, man. Wow, man. But I love when I see that, man, because like I'll be chilling out like on my balcony or something like that. And there's always this same little rabbit. I think it's the same one that comes, like, literally, man, like every night that I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? Every night that I'm at home, the same little rabbit comes running across the driveway or hopping across the driveway. And literally, man, he'll sit right there. He or she sit right there at my balcony. You know what I'm saying? I live on the second floor, so of course it's down, it's sitting down, but like he'll just stay right there, dude. I've thrown carrots and lettuce and stuff like that down, and he'll eat it. The cars come in and out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, yeah. And I have some friends that live in Pocatello, Idaho, and they live like where they live at. It's beautiful, dude. You walk out their backyard, and it's like they're down in the valley because the mountains are up above. Oh man, it's beautiful. But in their neighborhood, man, they have deer, they have elk that'll be walking down the street. Literally, they'll be walking down the street, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty cool, man, to like see that, man. Like even like out in like West Texas, like going I-10 West and stuff. Like I follow this guy on TikTok. Every morning he wake up, the deer are in his driveway. I'm talking about a whole herd of them are in his driveway, waiting on him to lift the garage door and throw corn out there to him, man. This dude, he films this. He does a video every day showing deer.
Yeah, it gets like that over in my dad's place sometimes. you know, my dad grows, you know, his own food or whatever. So some of the deer, and plus there's actually a hunting club right behind my dad's property. So I think some of them are looking for some
free
yeah,
food.
well, not necessarily
Or
just free food.
refuge.
Refuge,
Yeah.
yes.
The
So
comment, the guy said, we got it wrong that it's the deer's territory. We as humans cut through the forest, make roads parallel to the streams where the deer go to water. Of course, they're going across the road. They're looking for water. I completely agree with you. I don't disagree with that at all. That's 100% true. I remember when I was younger, where I used to live, it was like a forest, but it was next to the freeway, kind of, but it was still like an untapped like area, like just wild trees. But it was big too. It wasn't like a forest, actually a forest, but it was a huge, amount of trees that was like untouched, undeveloped stuff. And I used to leave, and I would get lost out there, kind of on purpose, and I would lead people around in there because I was the one they would follow because I knew my way around there because I would go out there by myself. So people would follow me to try to find their way out because it really was hard to find your way out because it was that big. And, the thing I think about with that is how, like, you could see the droppings of the deer droppings and like other animals, and you could also see their trails that they have made through the forest. It'll be like walkways because you're going to automatically follow those walkways because they've already kind of made them. You know what I mean? And like, because you got bushes and shit. So certain areas are thicker. Some areas are open, but in the thicker areas, you have these walkways that you can clearly see. But the thing about the deer is they're like invisible. Like you don't never see them. You know what I mean? That's what's so crazy about them, right? Like it's like they disappear. It's like if you do see it, then you don't see it. You know what I mean? It's gone.
well, I they scare the hell out of me because especially the little baby ones, because a lot of times I see them along the highway. I'm just rolling down the highway. They'll be off to the side of the road, but they're trying to find something to eat or whatever, and I just, for whatever reason, in the back, I'm subconsciously I'm just like, please don't bring your ass out this way. You know what I'm saying? They hear you coming. Some of them get startled and they'll run the other way. But I've seen it the opposite, where they'll run to the damn truck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's
like, that makes me think of Grand Theft Auto. You ever play Grand Theft Auto? And you know how if you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're like speeding through the traffic and you're like speeding around the cars, some cars will get out of your way and other cars will just get right in your way. Like they get startled when they see you coming and like they're trying to get out of your way. But instead of getting out of your way, they literally get directly right in front of you, like right at the moment when you're passing them.
Yeah. Well, that's probably deliberate by the computer.
I don't know. I think that's human nature. I really do. I think that's not just human, animal. It's like sometimes because we do the opposite when we get startled, and we think we're trying to, like, if we just didn't do nothing, it would be better. But we just get scared and then we try to do something to avoid what we think is going to happen or whatever. And then we actually make that thing happen. I think that's a real thing.
And that's the thing. I mean, because, people don't realize how much our subconscious can really control, how our subconscious really controls our real, what we think is real thinking, to where it will take over control of what, like the fears, the things that you think of the most. And if it's a fear, and like it's more likely for it to happen because you've played this scenario in your head so many times to where you end up playing it out, actually. So that's one of those things you got to really be careful about when, you got to have those positive affirmations you're constantly saying in your head instead of instead of the opposite, the negative or, potential bad things that could happen. But yeah, I can see that. Yeah, we definitely play into that side a little more than we should.
Hey man, I got another little story, bro. So I've always kind of, we all have heard of a high speed chase. We've all seen them play out on the news and shit. So I picked up a trailer today because we have a plant down in Mexico, and we take liquid hydrogen down to Nuevo Laredo, which is just across the Mexican border. And we swap trailers at the border, basically. And so anyway, on the way back up, I'm driving, I'm in a company truck. So the truck is fairly slow, 65. So all of a sudden, man, I see this car zip up beside me on the shoulder on my right. And I mean, he's hauling. He's right on around me, jump in front of me. Like the car is wobbling side to side like this. Like, dude is damn near finna do a barrel roll. Gains back control, and I mean, gone. Next thing I know, 3 police cars and 2 Border Patrol agencies do the same thing. Dude, it was a full-on high-speed chase, man, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, they can't catch this motherfucker? Like, dude was gone, back tire blown out and everything. Back tire on the passenger side blown out. I know cops will back down a little bit, just like, especially like in high traffic areas or something like that. But man, I had never seen a high-speed chase like full on like that in person. It was just it. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was amazing, it was awesome, but it was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I had never seen that, and the guys finally stopped, but they couldn't find him. Like when the traffic had been slowed down, so we're going real slow. They're looking. You got agents looking all in the car, tearing the car apart, and you see like state troopers and stuff driving through the brush because down that way it's all brush, desert brush, and these dudes was gone. I'm like, boy, these dudes here, they need to be running track or something because they gone. Like, they done literally jumped out the car and gone. None of these cops can find them. We sitting there, and I'm like, wow. I just never seen that in person, man. I thought that was like, damn. What people do to get away, man.
I can't help but to start getting all political after you tell me that story because I feel like in a lot of cases, the cops shouldn't be chasing after these people, and them doing that puts a lot of people in harm's way, themselves, innocent civilians, and also the person that's running away. That people make bad decisions, trying to get away from the cops, and they do stupid things. And I think that with all the technology we have, all the damn cameras everywhere, and cell phones and everything, they could use technology to just go and pick these people up if it's that serious. You know what I'm saying? Let them go. Well, damn, satellites, something. I know they can fucking go find these niggas. The license plate, the address, they probably on their way home. How many of these niggas don't go home after they, run from the cops?
I wouldn't.
But I'm just saying, I mean, they already do dumb things. They most likely they're going back home.
At some point.
Wait for them to go home and go pick them up, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's if they get enough information to be able to find out that's who that is. But I mean, you got to think some of these guys that's driving these cars that's on the run or end up on the run from the cops might be in their old lady car. You know what I'm saying? They might not be.
I agree with you on that, but still, I don't. Most of the time, what is the reason why they chasing them? Because they ran a red light. What was it? If they were bank robbers, then maybe that's different. But if most of the time it's not bank robbers, you know what I'm saying?
True. Well, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know who these people are that's doing this.
Somebody who ran a red light.
But I mean, just think too. I mean, the whole idea of that idea of because everybody's not updating their address every time for their registration and license and all that other stuff.
But what I'm saying is, most of the time they're pulling them over for something stupid. It could have been some traffic thing, and the person just didn't want to pull over. They're like, fuck the cops, fuck them, I'm not pulling over. And they done escalated a nothing into a something.
Well, no, and I get it. And I I really agree with you, fully on what you're saying. But I'm, of course, I'm throwing different scenarios out because I mean, there's a friend of mine that's in Spain right now, and he's like, cops they don't fuck with you like that. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? People speeding and the cops are looking like, all
Send them
right,
a ticket in the mail or something, you know?
some people might be set up that way, but some of us, it's so much of a money grab here, and the bonuses, the quotas, and all this and that is one of the reasons why these people, and they get the biggest pat on their backs, and plus, they can get them for whatever crime, they get bonuses for that. So it's that's one of the reasons why you're gonna see the cop like, oh, I'm gonna get this sucker.
And that's my point. That's my point. Making money. Tickets make money. Putting people in jail make money. Dudes, what you think about that? You there?
I saw him at a trailer. He might be loading.
Okay. Fucking well, I mean, I could tell a story. I don't know what story to tell because there's a couple of them in my head and they're all not good.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I've had traumatic things that has happened, in my life. I've had a few instances of traumatic, instances. It was like my first really serious relationship in high school. And, after high school, we had a baby, and, we moved in together. We had, life together, have a family and everything. And, that whole thing I thought I was going to be with her forever. Like I really did. I thought this was it. I was good. This is my family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm good. This is what it's going to be, and just settle into my life. Basically, that's how I was thinking. But, things didn't think, as we was together like 8 years. And, what's crazy, we was really close friends, like I would say she was my best friend, and so we understood each other really well. It was really close. But, I think that one of the things we do wrong in life, I think, is that we start worrying about the wrong things. Like when, like let's say when you join a family, you make a family, you have children or whatever, and then like it seems like the children become like the most important thing, and then we kind of forget about each other. Because the way we set up our life was, she worked at night. She worked nights in the hospital, and I worked days in like the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always one of us there with the kids, and whoever was there at the time. We had one car. Whoever was there with the, whoever had the kids had the car, and that's how we did it. And so, but doing it like that caused us to be like saying hi and bye all the time. As far as we seeing each other coming and going, mostly that's all, like throughout the week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and we did that for a long time. So I think that was one of the mistakes that we made.
Well,
what do you think?
I think I think that's a part of the growing pains that a lot of people in our generation, maybe a little ahead and definitely behind us, don't necessarily get, because our staying power is just not good, or at least not the same as what it was, generations before us. But that's a part of what happens growing up, and those things happen. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, for me as well, I realize how naive I really was when I was a lot younger. You realize yeah, you can consider them mistakes, but as far as allowing that to those mistakes to dictate how your relationships, actually turn out overall, that's probably the bigger mistake. But what's up, Elliot? Yeah, I see you in here. But however, most of those things, I guess you could say, they're really those learning lessons. Because, like I said, I mean, I look back, and hindsight is 2020. So, at the time we were doing what we thought was the best thing. For the most part, I know for me, that's what it was. Because I went through some of those same kind of things. Had a high school, matter of fact, junior high sweetheart, high school sweetheart, and even into college. Like, I dated this one girl for them like 12 years. You know what I'm saying? And we went through all kind of different little stuff. But of course, all of those years going back and forth, you don't realize until later that, I mean, probably weren't we were cool with, that was like my homie. You know what I'm saying?
So maybe it wasn't a good idea to have a baby with your homie,
Well,
I don't know. I really don't know. But what I'm saying is, in my situation, I felt like we kind of grew apart because of the way we set up our lifestyle, where we didn't give enough time for each other to have time for each other. You know what I mean? And we kind of just built our life around the kids, basically.
Yeah, but that's how it's gonna be. And for the adults not to realize that it's got to be that to a certain extent, because I mean, both of y'all are responsible for that kid. But yeah, you should be still focusing on each other, because I mean, overall, that's the relationship that began it all. So you gotta do those things to try to keep y'all solid with each other, but also you have somebody that can't take care of themselves at all, so you will have to focus a lot of energy to the kid, and this is a new thing for both of y'all. So like I said, I don't think you should really be, should be something that you beat yourself up about, because that's a part of those growing pains. You realize, and maybe that was one of those things to prepare you for a relationship that comes down the road. Because I mean, I don't necessarily look at things as like it was just a fault or whatever. Like, everything that happens is a better, a chance for you to grow, get better.
Well, another part of my story is, my daughter's mom, she passed away when she was like 3 years old. So, and we had bought a house together. We both had income. So like overnight, I went from having two parent household, 2 income household, to one parent, one income. And, that was really hard, especially being that Naya was a girl. Some of the horror stories I can tell is, having to take her to the restroom. If we're in public, we're somewhere, she has to go to the restroom. Little girl, where do I take her to? Like, this is my dilemma. I can't take her to the girls' restroom because I can't go in there. There's going to be a problem.
Yeah, no, you take in the bathroom, you go in the stall with them, you help them make sure they're good. If they, they starting to feel like, daddy might be seeing too much. Well, all right, well, you go ahead and do what you got to do, but I'm here. And turn your back, give her whatever privacy that they might need. You know what I'm saying? But
that was a huge part of Anaya's childhood. Was me taking her to the men's restroom, and I have no choice, and it made me so uncomfortable all the time. It was really a big deal to me, and it's like, I think I'm super sensitive to stuff like that, because the reason why I left my job where I was making good money was because they made me work on Halloween night, and they made me work on New Year's Eve night. And I remember New Year's Eve, like, imagine trying to find a babysitter on New Year's Eve, right? Imagine, right? Who is finna watch your small child on New Year's Eve? I have friends, I have family, but they all got shit to do. And I fucking try to find 24-hour daycares. They have those, and I would use those from time to time, but not on New Year's Eve. They close early that day, and so I had to take my daughter with me to work that night, and it really hurt me a lot, you know what I'm saying? To put her to sleep in the booth, and not having nobody to watch her, yeah, it hurt. And I think a big part of I'm super sensitive because she doesn't have a mom, her mom is gone. I don't have that other person, and I'm trying to be mom. They used to call me Mr. Mom, because I'm the mom and the dad for this child, and I try, and that's another thing that makes it difficult for me, because whenever I make decisions about her life, I'm always like, damn, am I making the wrong decision? I don't have another person to bounce these ideas off, on, I'm always hesitant on making like major decisions that are related to her, because, I wait and I hesitate and I mull it over for a really long time. And I try to imagine the other side, or maybe imagine what her mom would thought, and try to like have that conversation in my head. So before I make the decision, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
there we go.
That's one of those things that, of course, I haven't lived that personally, but I mean, you just be, the best dad you could be. I mean, I guess if you want to use that idea of, what do you think the other person would do? But, you're just doing what the best you can do with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes you might have to do that whole, letting them sleep in the bench or whatever. Nobody else is there that you can rely on to do the sitting while you working this night or whatever. I commend you, man. I think you, based on what I've seen over the years, me knowing you, I think done a very good job.
I always say I just do what
you guys were talking about. Not to interrupt, I just came back in.
Well, I told the story about how Anaya's mom passed away, and how like it pretty much, how a lot of people say like your life, there's before this date and after that date. That's one of those things. My life is broken into pieces in the life before that and after that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she, it was just a really sudden thing that happened, and I had to deal with it. I ended up losing my house. I held on to my house a few years after she passed away, but I just got tired. I was like, why am I doing all this? I'm running like, oh my God, it was so fucking exhausting. Yeah. I was like, why the fuck am I doing all this shit? And I wasn't thinking clearly. I went kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I wasn't in my right mind at all. I basically threw away a lot of shit. I could have kept the house. I threw away so much shit. I lost so much shit during that time in my life just because the way I was thinking was like, fuck it. I was really on some fuck it. And I was like, but, what kept me alive, what kept me going, and this is what I tell people, is it was my daughter, because I was losing it, but I had to keep some amount of fucking, sanity for her, because there was nobody else to look out for her. And I would just look and I would see her and I'd be like, damn, Chucky, fucking get it the fuck together, get it together, at least enough for this child, So
yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, I just, I didn't know what you guys were talking about, but I just want to, I have an understanding, if you will, if y'all ask me a question or something.
Yeah, well, I know that you have some insight of that subject that I was talking about, because you was around that time and shit. You remember the house?
Yeah.
You remember the house?
Yeah, no, I remember it, man. I remember, I think you guys had brought me out to the house just shortly after y'all had closed on. I think y'all had only been in it for like a month or so. But yeah, I came out there a couple of times to the crib, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. You know, but nah, I commend you, dude. You know, for everything you did. You know, doing that pretty much by yourself, and that's the biggest thing. You know, like that was just pretty much that's outstanding, man. You know, because you know, doing that with really no family support, nobody that can really just lend you a hand. It's all like, you know, moral support when they feel up to it, you know what I'm saying? Or if they feel good about themselves, you know, nobody really there to just, you know, stick in
And
when you truly need that help, you know what I'm saying?
you got the inside scoop on that because you know that I'm the one that all of them went to for whatever the hell. So when I
Oh
was
yeah.
all fucked up, now I gotta say my sister, if she's watching or if she watches this, she came through for me. If it wasn't for her, I would have fucking absolutely fucking not been able to make it through. So yeah, during that time, she was the one who she handled the funeral and a lot of stuff. She came from out of town. I think she was in South Carolina at the time, and she moved in with me for a while and pretty much handled everything because I really couldn't handle it at all.
Hey, highlight that last comment. The reality is, men and women need a non-biased support group, which I think is, you know, whether it's biased or not. I mean, honestly, non-biased, biased. I mean, I don't care. I mean, everybody needs somebody that they can, you know, come to, have different conversations with, somebody that can, you know, have your back when, you know, different things come about. Um, you know, and like I said, I'm from Louisiana. You know, I'm at my mom's house now, but I lived in Houston for the most part of me having a kid, and you know, my my wife, you know, at the time, her family, you know, wasn't really, you know, they didn't really like, they kind of did their own thing. So, especially, and I know it was hard for, you know, my wife at the time because I'm a truck driver. I'm on the road most of the time, so even having somebody that can pick him up from daycare, school, or just, you know, her needing some free time, like just to be able to think or breathe for herself was a tough deal. You know what I'm saying? And I think you guys, you know, at one point, you know, we had you guys that would step up and kind of help out with some of that, but you know, my family would have done it with no question, like with, you know, like not even a thought, but they were all in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? The ones that
Yeah.
were, you know, that were close, they, you know, kind of had their own thing going on, and you know, just wasn't as important or them to realize uh, you know, the mental health issues that were building up to, you know, not having somebody that was either the non-biased or biased, you know, help, that support. So I think that's, you know, that's really important. What Elliot said is that, you know, we all need somebody, you know, just just to be able to take a breath sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody that's gonna, you know, when you are having those, you know, crazy, you know, having those thoughts, you're not sure which way to go. You got somebody that you can lean on. So, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, I really appreciate, you know, like you and I, you know, I don't know if I should say their name, but y'all, you know, would help out from time to time when she did need, you know, some help, and I'm on the road. You know, I'm on the phone trying to give whatever kind of, you know, assistance I can, but that don't really help. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like it really can't help the way that they need it. You know what I'm saying?
You need a person there
Yeah.
to physically be there sometimes to actually do something
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, ultimately, bro, I think that's what led my wife and I to where we have been at. You know, we're 15 years in, 2 kids. I've been an over the road truck driver our whole marriage. We got married at Bible study on a Wednesday, and the next morning I was on a bus headed up to Dallas, to do orientation and hop on the truck. You know what I'm saying? And then we ended up getting pregnant with my daughter back in '09, and she had her in November of '09. And I stayed home about 2-3 months. I stayed home. You know, I was owner operator at the time, and but ultimately, you know, us not having that family support, our friend support for that matter. You know what I'm saying? Her mom had passed away. You know, I didn't have my mom, my dad are unreliable. You know, hell, I still don't have a relationship with them. You know, my mother has never been for nobody else but herself. You know, that's just, you know, I guess that hard living and the way she came up and the drug addiction and in and out of prison. And, you know, my dad, same thing, you know, from that in and out of prison, drug addiction, prostitution, you know, all of these things. And so it was just always my wife and I, you know, and she never really had a break. She never really had anybody to voice these things to. And then here it is, I'm a truck driver, spending 2 and 3 weeks out on the road, and I come home, you know, I thought I was doing right by trying to make things, you know, about her, but it was never in the manner in which, you know, a woman receives it, as far as, you know, creating a special space. You know, I would always be like, hey, babe, whatever you want to do, I'm down, you know, whatever, no matter what it costs, I'm down, let's go do it, you know. But for a woman, it's like, hey, you know, you going out there and you picking the venue and you planning this out and you doing this and doing that. And, you know, and it was just all of those things. And they're just never really having a escape. We got married at 20. She was 20, I was 21, you know, and it was just, she never really had anybody like what the comment said, that was, you know, non-biased, you know, somebody that truly understood. You know, and I'm thinking, because I come from nothing, you know, I want the best life for my wife and my kids. I come from, you know, poverty, you know, family that's held down by, you know, drug and, you know, addiction and drugs and just not having nothing in life, you know. And I wanted the best for my family, you know what I'm saying? And I never really stopped, you know. And then here it is, we get to 13 years, and I'm noticing the division between my wife and I, and just a lot of things, man, you know. And when we sit down now and have these hard conversations, you know, I realized a lot of what she needed was just support, you know, and she leaned on me for a lot of it, and I worked so much, and I didn't take that time and, you know, and pay attention. And now it's like, I don't give a fuck about no job. I don't care about the job. I don't care about nothing else. When my wife say, hey, you know, she ain't even got to say hey, because I'm on it. Like, I'm so attentive. I pay attention to everything. If her forehead wrinkle, if she get one too many wrinkles in her forehead, I'm like, baby, what's wrong? What's going on? What's on your mind? I know, you know what I'm saying?
That's real shit right there.
Know, like I get up in the morning when I work 6 days a week. You know, we run hard when we're working, you know, we're moving constantly. But, you know, I get home from work. If I get home at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I stay up. I don't go to sleep. I come home, I hop in the shower, I throw my work clothes and shit in the laundry. You know what I'm saying? I stay up. I cook the kids breakfast. You know, I get their lunches prepared. I get my wife some breakfast. I get her lunch prepared. I pack her lunch. I stay up. I iron their clothes. Like, I'm like, hey, whatever you need, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, like, you need to, you know, because we don't have nobody, bro. It's just her and I, you know. And we always say, I wish we could just meet some normal people that's not with drama.
What is that?
Just some people that we can be friends with, that don't look at we have such giving hearts and always got an issue. We always got, you know, when you're friends with somebody, you care about people, bro. You don't want to, especially if you got little kids, and then me coming from nothing, I don't want to see a little kid crying and, you know, so I immediately step in and want to help.
Hungry.
Yeah.
I'm finna feed
you know
the
what I'm saying?
kids. Yes.
Yeah. most definitely, bro. Like, and that's like now kids come to my house. They love when I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? All my kids friends, they love when I'm at home because they know, hey man, I'm finna go start the pit. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna do some sausages because they love all the kids. They love sausages on the hot dog bone with barbecue sauce. I'm finna do ribs. Like we finna chill out by the pool. You know, we gonna play and wrestle. Like and but I had to go through that, almost losing my family in a sense, and seeing my wife suffer, for me to catch it, bro. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I know they say you shouldn't regret anything. It was a lesson and all that for me, but I do regret it because it took me back to my childhood, not being able, still to this day as a grown man. Like I'm sharing this with y'all, but I don't have nobody to talk to about it. I don't have nobody to talk to about the depression that I dealt with out on the road every day. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about the shit that I went through, missing my family, crying and as a grown man, crying and begging my dad and my mother to have a relationship with me. Like, hey man, don't worry about what happened between us. I got 2 kids. I just want you to be in their life, you know, and them still not conforming to that, or at least trying to meet me halfway. Dude, I spent thousands of dollars, I guess you can say, buying my mother's love, buying my dad's love. Like, hey man, come spend time with me. I'm gonna buy you a bottle. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna put a little money in your pocket. Come see your grandkids. So
Well,
it's
and
just,
that's got to be tough, man. Look, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but at the same time, I'm like just having these thoughts of I had people living in the house with my wife. One was a family member of mine, and one a family member of hers, and still trying to have that help was still a tough deal. And you know what I'm saying? It was. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was truly insane, and neither worked. Neither one worked. One of them worked from time to time. My family, when they were able to and they could find the work, because, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we do everything else. You don't pay one bill. You don't buy one thing for the refrigerator or the pantry. So, it's like,
Well, let's get on the subject because a couple of the comments just kind of wrap it up. He said, "I'm big on family." He said the family structure is broken up, and I would agree with him on that because, like, one of my children I didn't see for like 10 years because the mom moved away or whatever. Whatever y'all want to, whatever the story, I didn't get to see him for a long ass time.
mhm.
And then my latest daughter, she's in my life. But she lives, the mom lives across the street in another apartment complex, another apartment complex. You know what I'm saying? Because he said the family structure messed up, and then he said at least mine. So I'm saying mine is messed up too.
Well, I think we all have things that we could work on. I mean, regardless of the state of our situations, you know, we all not gonna get it right, and then like I said, we have the best sight after it's all said and done. But
And he was
question
asking,
is
what's the
what?
subject? That's we're talking about telling stories and telling our stories, and basically you could tell your story or a story because I feel like people learn from stories. Like this stuff goes way back in our evolutionary history. Like it's all about stories. Everything, we love stories. So we learn from them. We're entertained by them. It's a big thing for us. We're humans. So that's what today's is about. And this comment where he says, "I don't trust women having all that time," meaning like when you're gone from work, and and your wife is and you're away from your wife. What do y'all think about that?
Well, for me, I think a lot of times, we really have to take into account, who we're with. If we're not making the best decisions to start with, that might be one thing to look at. But at the same time, I mean, especially if they're dealing with kids, it ain't much more they're doing other than taking care of those kids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless they're getting older in age. But if you got young kids, you best believe, especially you got a
They
home
busy.
to a home to take care of, and and like I said, I mean, I can really speak from I can pretty much say until maybe later. I don't know. I mean, I can't be 100% that, my ex, never did anything outside the boundaries of our relationship, but most likely she didn't, because you know what I'm saying, the way she was with our son, this, that, and the other. But there are women out there that's like, that they will jump outside of the loop when they have the opportunity. So we got to be, really, I guess, be able to assess the woman that we actually dealing with.
My take on that, man, if you will, I hear guys tell me that all the time. I've even heard men older than me when I tell them what I do. Like, man, you trust your word? Like, man, I would. It's, for one, yeah, I trust her. But here's the other thing. I know so many guys that work local and wanted to stay around town because of these things and still had infidelity in their marriage. Wife was still cheating because guess what? You're a local driver. You got a set schedule most of the time. She know when and where. She know your stop
It's
sign.
easier.
She know. Yeah, it's a lot easier. With me being an over-the-road driver, say, man, I would be gone 3 weeks. Yeah, I would be gone 3-4 weeks at a time. But there was times in those weeks that I was gone that I just pop up at the house and surprise her. She wouldn't even know. I just pop up at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's about knowing who you with, and you just got to have that trust. Once that person breaks that trust and that trust and that bond, then you go from that point on. But to say that you don't trust a woman all that time, you got to know who you with. Not every woman is smiling at every man that pop in their DM, or every man that looks at them when they pass by. It's just about who you with, and like my grandmother used to say, how you got her is how you gonna lose her. You know what I'm saying?
Or
like if you got her in a mess up, or keep her. If you got her in a situation where she was with somebody, but they had a little rocky and she was being overly friendly to you, then you may have to worry about that. Because it's like I tell people, man, it's one thing that I tell everybody, and I don't know it all. I'm 34 years old. I don't know it all. But I tell dudes, especially friends of mine, say, man, if you out here messing around with a woman that's in a relationship, you're going to be tainted for the remainder of until you get right. You're going to be tainted. Because the minute you decide to finally settle down with one woman, you're going to always worry. Because you know what you were out there doing. And karma is a motherfucker. It's a real life thing. You know what I'm saying? If you out there dipping and dabbing, she got a good old man, but he don't hit her right, he don't fuck her right, he don't do this, he pay the bill, she wants somebody to dick her down. Okay, wait till you finally decide to settle down, bro. It's gonna come back on you some way, somehow. It may not happen between you and your significant other. It could happen through one of your children. Your daughter could face that. Your son could face that. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna come back one way or another. And that's one thing that I never do. I'm never messing with a woman in a relationship, whether she's boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend situation, or they together. Look, man, you got somebody, I don't even want to talk to you. I got somebody myself, so I'm not even looking, but I'm just saying. Even before I got married, being young, like I just never did that,
Well, let me ask this. I mean, based on, us as men, for us to have mental health, good mental health, is it even good to even stress on those things? Because I mean, if she's doing something wrong, I mean, what's done in the dark will come into the light. So I mean, by you focusing on that, maybe you are generating that kind. Because I mean, even with the comment that's being made with like your spiritual growth, I mean, if whatever you put in your mind to is a lot of times what you manifest in your life. So if that's the thing that you worried about, in most cases, you are the one that's drawing that into your relationship, because that's what you're manifesting with your mind. So
I think what he means though in that is let me tell them. Let me just give my interpretation of 9 to 5 can get in the way of spiritual growth. It's like that routine, the grudge, the the freaking work, being the cog in the machine. You know what I'm saying? Being in traffic every morning, being in traffic every day after work, pushing pencils during the week. You know what I'm saying? Going to lunch,
shuffling papers and all. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I think.
Well, no, it wasn't directly to what are you saying about the 9 to 5. I'm just saying like overall your spiritual growth when we're even looking at that type of idea that that's one of the effects that we don't realize that we do, but that is a different aspect of your spiritual growth because your mind you're not really focusing on you're not focusing on your partner, you're not focusing on a lot of times it's okay, what we got to do for the kid, what we got to do for this, what we got to do for that, and the actual growth that we need to be able to be better humans.
We're focusing on the wrong shit. And he said my heart's numb from my last marriage. I refuse to let my heart get broken again. And I swear to God, I could shed a tear, brother. I could shed a tear with you, brother. Man, that's why I'm single right now. I'm scared of women. I'm afraid of them. And I tell my daughter this all the time and she laughs. She thinks I'm weird. They scare the shit out of me, man. I don't know what they're up to.
And I guess maybe I have somewhat of that fear, but at the same time, I don't want to be by myself, and for the rest of my life. And I'm hopeful. You know what I'm saying? I've always been an optimistic person, so I do want that. I do want to have me I'm as I'm doing the whole common law thing, so it won't be legal. So I mean,
why we gotta get the white folks in our business?
No, I mean, it doesn't make sense, and the whole idea of this marriage, the way that we do
it's the way to make money. We could talk about the diamonds, we could talk about the marriage, we could talk about the proposal. All of that shit is capitalism.
Oh yeah, from the rooter to the tutor. The dates, the Valentine's Day. I mean, all these damn things, is to capitalize on,
You got to pay the lawyers, you got to pay the judges, you got to pay the.
You pay the pastor.
You got to have a wedding, and then you got to have guests. You got to pay caterers. You got to get a cake. Who the fuck came up with all this shit?
Man, that's a good one. Let's see, what is it? I wish that was the case. It said, notice yourself is last, and IRS typically sleep.
Yeah, they chilling. Basically, he's saying you on your busting your ass every day, and they collecting that money, and that's what it is. There's a thing. I don't want to offend nobody, but from where I heard it from, it's like a Jewish thing where it's like a buzzard, and then you have, little the nest that of another animal that just had babies that the buzzard is coming and eating them. And it's like a certain segment of people feel like they're the buzzard or whatever, and everyone else is those little babies in the nest. And they feel like their whole existence is just for them to just take advantage of, and feed on as they wish.
I would say the owl would be the better bird to speak in that analogy, because they want you live. The buzzard might sit around and wait till you laid over and they pick what the hell they can get and whatever. No, the owl is looking at these different little animals crawling around, whatever, and they'll drop down, grab, come right back up, and they got you. But it says typically sleep for your personal 8 hours. Man, I wish I could get 8 hours. Even with me being on the truck alone, it's 5, maybe 6 hours I might actually sleep, because it's just so many other things. Got to spend a certain amount of time with my son, on the phone. Get it, make sure his mental health is good. Because they don't just come out and just tell you, issues they might be having and this, that, and the other. If that's the case. So, I mean, daily, I'm talking with him on the phone. Got other little business stuff that I'm doing, but a lot of it I can do during my work day when I get different stuff set up. So I'm making business calls while I'm driving or whatever. But man, and I understand that's just kind of I guess the typical, because my life is not the same like everybody else's. Everybody get to see their house every day. You know what I'm saying? For me, I see it when I see it. You know what I'm saying? But however, he said he didn't mean the IRS.
Yeah, he was saying, because I said IRS, but he was talking about hours of typical sleep. I want to hear more from Deuce though, because Deuce was getting real. Let me hear like a story or your story, like because like again, this could be therapy for us in a lot of ways. I want this to be a place where people can come and share their thoughts, and maybe they don't have other places that they can do this, So whatever you feel comfortable enough to share. I mean, you've already shared some really,
Oh, really? He touched on some things, and I know. I mean, I can totally relate to most of that stuff.
Because like what he said about not having nobody, like I shed a tear on that shit, bro. Like not having nobody to go to. And I came from parents that was drug addicted too. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the 80s, the 70s. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and the drugs had taken over my neighborhood, and my parents was no exception. And I had to deal with that too, like he said, poverty, and then also dealing with not having to this day, because my dad passed away when I was 22, and the other parts of my family, I can't go to them or whatever. I don't have a relationship with them, and to be able to have someone to go to help. So I'm really kind of like, and then the other thing he said about how where can you find people that you could trust, you feel comfortable enough to even hang out with, like, you know what I'm saying? Either they asking you for something, or they trying to get something, they have some kind of ulterior motive that you don't know what they're up to or something. And then it keeps us all in our little box, because that's how I am. I don't really fuck with nobody. Look, I'm on the internet. I like to interact with people from a distance. I'm in the room by myself right now. I mean, it is what it is, but it's a fear of like connecting with people because they're gonna like take advantage of you or something. You know what I mean? Use you in some kind of way that's not beneficial. But I do like what Kanye West says about using people, how he says like everybody uses people, just hopefully it's in a beneficial way, that they're getting something from you and you're getting something from them, because otherwise then it's parasitic. So anyway,
when I was younger, I used to say that to even my friends. It's like, that I mean, you're supposed to use people. Like that's the whole thing. Like that's really the idea of relationships. Y'all use each other, but just that you're not taking advantage of those people. That's the main thing. But you're supposed to use the people in your lives. That's just
hopefully you're using them for something, and hopefully they're using you for something. And that's the proper relationship.
And that's beneficial for both.
Yeah. So what'd you think about all that, Deuce? Tell us a story. I want to hear any story. Just tell us a story, because today
just let him talk. I mean, because he ain't gonna lie, he was going. And like I said, I know I interrupted him, but it was just like I had to kind of butt in at that point, because it was hitting me.
It was hitting me too. I was about to shed a tear. I ain't gonna lie, Deuce. I ain't gonna lie. About to shed a tear right here on this live, because the words you were saying. So tell us a story.
Man, I don't really know if I don't really know if I have a story per se, but just I have found, like, because I went into that place of where you're at, where you say like you like to connect from a distance or this or that, and I kind of went into that place, man, and then I started realizing, like, I can't necessarily be like that way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not good for my mental health. Like, I feel like as men, we crave being around like-minded people. You know what I'm saying? And even though I don't have that relationship with my dad or anything like that, I don't have that relationship with my mom. You know, I have a really good best friend of mine that I went to high school with. You know, like me and him, we talk a lot, and I don't. And here's the thing: I don't express a lot of things to him about like stuff that I may have went through in my marriage and things of that nature. I don't express my marriage with a lot of people, period, because I never want somebody to be that's partial to me or that is close to me to have a bias against my wife. I never want somebody to have fuel against her. You know what I'm saying? So, but now I don't, like I say, man, I don't really know if I have a story, bro. It's just, you know, just going through life, man, you just start to realize, man, and like, just, you know, what do you do, bro? You know, like, I've tried on several occasions, and I've just gotten to a point now where I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, he reached out, like, my quick story. My dad reached out to me on Wednesday. I was off. That's why I didn't come into the live Wednesday and Thursday, because I was at home with the wife and kid. But he reached out to me on Wednesday, and I had spent all week. I got home Wednesday morning off the road, yada yada yada, family thing. Man, I had to get some work done on my little pickup, and he hit me up and was like, "Hey man, you think you could stop by the house? I'm cooking and this and that." And I was tired, bro, and I was like, nah. I was like, man, I can't. You know, my wife and my kids are waiting on me. Just got home this morning, hadn't had any rest. I need to go home, have dinner with them, see how their day was, and you know, and get some sleep. In which I felt, because of the person that I am, I felt guilty. But then I spoke to my wife about it, and me and her kind of talked about it, you know, while laying down, and she made a whole lot of sense. Like, you can't continue to allow people to come into your life on their terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, yeah, you feel bad because of the person that you are, but at the end of the day, it's his fault. You know, and that kind of, like, I felt something rise up in me, like, you know, like, hey, man, it's okay to tell motherfuckers no. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to march to your, you know, to just kind of march to your own beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, I can't this time. You know, and that's one of the things that I just realized, like, I try to be there for those who go out of the way, you know, or just simply be there for me. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, like I said, I don't really have no story. I can talk about life situations all day long, man. Like, you know, y'all used to get on me all the time, like, especially you, like, man, why you in the mix? Like, you all of these people shit, man, like, but I'll be honest with you.
Damn, you're breaking up. What Deuce was saying was, wait, let me tell the people, like, because he would always be, I always felt like he was mature, you know, for his age, and he always kind of hung out with people that was older than him, and he could have real conversations with them. Like, he was a little kid, and he's having a conversation with somebody like 2 times his age, and it's you know, making sense, having a real ass conversation with them. And, you know, also out there in the street, kind of like running with them. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. And you never knew what he was into. Like, he was that kid that could have been involved in whatever the hell was. He might have been the mastermind, and these grown folks is doing the shit. He might have been the one talk them into it.
Well, that's kind of similar. That's kind of similar to my story too. I, you know, grew up, you know, really like all of my brothers. My oldest brother is like 6 years older than me. So, you know, if you really think about it at an early age, and say junior high, I'm 12 and they're 18. But I was getting into all kind of different stuff just because of, you know, shoot, I was selling pot when I was in junior high. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all these different things because I got access. people trust me, like they know I can handle this, that, and the other, but it also led to other things. I'm out partying with them, like doing shit definitely shouldn't have been doing, but I was definitely one of those that, you know what I'm saying? Like I was more mature than, most of the other kids my age or whatever. So that's definitely something I can relate with too, because, and I mean, shoot, I guess I was such a, a lot of the people, looked to me for some advice because I was just rational. You know what I'm saying? You could. Hmm?
Oh yeah. Can y'all hear
I'm
me?
sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm over
Okay.
here searching and shit. I'm distracted. My bad, y'all.
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you can go ahead, Deuce, because I'm just, I'm fitting into your story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah. Nah, man, I love this conversation. Like it's just, I don't know, man. It was just, even now, it's like I said, I got one friend that I hang with that we're close in age. I'm 34. He just made, I think, 36. So, but for the most part, everybody I hang out with, talk to, they're a lot older than me, and it's just about, I don't know, man. Like I literally seen, when I stayed in Louisiana, I stayed down in Baldwin with, they're not real family, but they knew me from a kid. They knew my dad, and they had took me in and everything, brought me from Houston to Louisiana, down there in Baldwin. And my grandfather down there, man, he couldn't read or write. He couldn't read or write, but you thought he was the smartest man in the world. And why? Because he hung around smart people. You know what I'm saying? He would listen and have conversations. He had the ability to rationalize, and I think I kind of picked that up him, hanging out with him, and but I remember my first time trying to sell some weed. I think I brought my first blunts that I rolled to Chaka.
uh-oh.
I don't even know if Chaka remember that shit, but I brought them blunts. He was like, "Oh, this ain't no blunt. This shit looks like a cigar." I was like, "Nah, there's weed in it." And Chaka busted down, and sure enough, it was all weed. We had used a blunt roller. And I was doing this. He like, "You selling this shit?" Like that? Like, I'm trying to. Oh, but that nigga got me caught by a leaf, nigga. He got me in trouble.
well, look. Let me. I'm looking at what the Drunken Truth said. He said the best way to keep your marriage is don't let anyone in. What do y'all think about that comment?
Yeah, but how do you, again, Deuce already summed it up. He said, know who you with. So that kind of answers that question, because if you know who you with, your wife not finna, the person, that person, the quality of that person, then they're not finna let anyone in, because you can't not let someone in. It would be her letting someone in or whatever. Or if it was you, if you was the one, then it would be you letting someone in. So you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they might be talking about like with friends, where you giving some of the intimate conversations, having some of these deep conversations with certain people,
So
letting them into your your.
But if they're talking like that with somebody, then they are, that's them already heading down that road. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's someone that they could have sex with, if it's someone that they're sexually attracted to, someone that they could physically have sex with. It
doesn't even have to be the opposite sex. It doesn't have to be the opposite sex.
Yeah, because they do get in. I understand what y'all saying though, but I'm just saying, I think Deuce summed it up already. And but like, because I think the problem with the marriage is more than that thing is the structure of society. You know what I'm saying? Breaking up the homes, and then like the feminist movement, and then it's like independent woman, and then it's like, I don't know, child support, the prison industrial complex. I think those factors have way more impact. And then, also the idea of monogamy anyway. Let's talk about that. Now, this is a good subject to roll into, because, this is what I say in the Black community, right? this monogamy thing is not really us naturally. And a lot of us are doing polygamy without calling it polygamy. And this whole idea of the cheating thing is just another way for society to kind of get into your household and like condemn someone or whatever. Because if you know, but you do have to be respectful. There's a respectful thing related to this, because when you do polygamy, you have to commit to that woman, and you got to make sure that she's taken care of. All of her needs are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying the black community does, because look, I was talking about this the other day. Most black men I know are paying for more than one household right now today. You know what I'm saying? They got that girlfriend and they paying her rent. They paying her car note too. You know what I'm saying? The side chick. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of like polygamy, because in a lot of times the girlfriend knows about the wife. Maybe even the wife knows about the girlfriend. They're all cool with it as long as, you know, whatever. So, but then society tells you you're supposed to be mad. You're supposed to kill your spouse because they cheated on you and completely overreact.
I don't really know too much about that, but because hey, look here, I ain't taking care of no other household but the one I got another pack. But no, man, like, yeah, like exactly, like you have to be careful on who you talk to, man, because you have some people, they're not there that they'll seem like they care, you know, but they're there just to have insight on your relationship, man, and everything, every advice that's around them or anytime you talk to them, it's all negative. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm very selective on who I talk to, you know, who I may mention something to. You know, I'm not going around, you know, every time I have it, oh man, nah, man, you know, a lot of it, yeah, I think that you have to be careful on who you talk to about that. You know,
What's careful?
and I don't feel like family should always be your go-to. You know, you should be, like they say, you should talk to somebody that's non-biased. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can talk and give you advice on a level playing field. You know, that's not going to immediately take your side and take her side. But that can be, you know, understanding or partial to both. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's why I say it's not always best to go and talk to family about relationship issues. It's not good I don't feel like it's good for a man to go to his mother every time he's having a problem in his marriage, because your mother's going to be partial to you, you know.
You don't need to put none of them people in your business. That's what I say. But hey, I hate to change the subject again, but again, the guy's comment says humans are not monogamous creatures. And I completely agree with that. We're rabbits, bro. And we got to freaking remember that shit. We're freaking rabbits. We're mammals. You know, we're herd animals. Look at all the other mammals and how they do it. And usually it's a stud who does he usually has a harem.
Well, I think, you know, mainly based on science. I mean, because I mean, no matter where we go, like there's more females than there are males. But I think at some point, you know, maybe it's the construct, because there's a lot of people, like what he said, you know, he's not paying for another household. You know, all of the resources he has is going to go to this one place. But, you know, I think for those who, you know, in this structure that can afford it, most likely you even if you don't take the step, you think about it. You look at some other female like, ooh, damn, you know, like if the situation is right, you might take that leap.
And I think that they're spending way much more money. It works for capitalism to do it this way, and to make polygamy be all this ugly, horrible, evil thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having 2 or 3 wives, what's wrong with that? They're already doing it.
Yeah, I
But
don't see anything wrong with it. And I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, if you were in a relationship with somebody that, you know, it didn't all fall out, you know, y'all still cool, you know, after everything, you move on to another,
Hey,
you know,
hey,
relationship,
Shaka.
I think you will
You,
end up, you know, like you will still care for that other person. Things
hey,
could
Shaka.
happen, they may not, even if it doesn't get sexual, even if you talk with them just on you know, regular social level, that's still somewhat like a marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
exactly,
Shaka.
that's what I'm
You gonna
saying.
pay for all that?
Well, you have to. That's the
No,
way
you
it
want 3
goes.
wives?
I don't want 3 wives. I don't have if I could afford it. If I could
Of
afford it.
course, of
No, I don't
course.
want that.
Look, I'm divorced, and my ex I still consider like my wife, because if anything happens at the house, like, you know, I'm on
Oh
my
yeah.
off time,
No,
she needs stuff done.
I
You know, I go, instead of her having to go pay for some dude or anybody to, you know, to come and do simple stuff that I can get done. I mean, I'm just gonna go and do it because, for one, all
see
right, my son lives
see
there,
that
you
that
know.
kind of falls on that. Oh well, most definitely then, because yeah, your son is there, but that kind of falls on morals. I mean, I did the same thing after my divorce. If anything had went bad, then that kind of would have fell on my shoulders, because it's like, damn, that's still my ex-wife. I ain't married. You if And that was like one of the first things that hit my mind. It's like, damn, dude, just don't bump into a dude that's gonna be in there trying to kick your ass or nothing like that.
Yeah,
Cause
I
Because
now,
mean,
cause
that,
but
now,
like,
cause
we're
now,
not
you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah,
we're
well,
not married legally, but spiritually, you know, and you know, because of the ties that we have, I can't shut her off. You know, if she loses her job, she don't have somewhere to stay. Her and my son, you know, I can't. You know, I'm not gonna allow him to be on the street, and I believe, like, the relationship that we've had, because we didn't just have no true fallout where, you know, we hate each other. So if something
so
was to happen, I would still,
Pat, let me ask you a
you know,
question,
I
bro.
would
Let me
say,
ask you a question.
here's the key, here's the keys to my place. Y'all go stay here. I'm going any damn way. You know what I'm saying? So it just really kind of depends on, you know, how you see life. You know what I'm saying?
Let
In a
me
whole.
let me ask you a question. And I'm only asking this question from the outside looking in. I've only been married once. So honestly, dude, I'm not planning
Me
on
too.
doing it again.
Okay.
So the question is, where does it balance out? Where does it balance out? Because I see myself after marriage is I'm not a provider, I'm a giver, and I'm expected to give. There's a difference. There's a difference. And I'm not just talking about providing necessities and stuff like that. Where does it balance out? And that's a question. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I never saw it, but you know, when things start to end and kind of round themselves out, you kind of see what you bought. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of see what you bought.
Well,
And it's like, oh, really? Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah. I mean, and you know, I don't think that's necessarily my situation. So, I mean, everybody's situation is different. That's why marriages are always different from, you know, from person to person. Every relationship is totally different, and the agreements that y'all make may not be the same agreements that me and
Yeah,
mine made. So,
understood.
yeah, and even
Oh,
with
so
us,
look, wait, wait. I do
even
have a
with us.
story. I do have a story.
All
okay,
right,
tell
go.
the story.
So I didn't work today, and I happened to just be searching on YouTube and just looking at other platforms. You know, just listening to just things that I'm interested in. So there's a there's a lady. Her name is Kendra G or something like that. So
I
I
heard of
just
her.
subscribed to her
Yeah.
channel.
Okay.
The woman came on her show, which is a dating show. She has a live online dating show. So this woman starts explaining to her, she's like, "Oh well, I'm in the dating market, and I'm looking for a man, and blah 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 this and the other." And she's totally calm. She's like 100% calm. And so the host starts asking, she's like, "Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, she had her 1-year-old daughter in her arms, blah blah blah." And
Hmm.
she's like, "Oh, that's cute. You just had a baby." She's like, yeah, I just had a baby. Like, how old is she? She's 9 months. She's like, oh, okay, well, what happened? You're out here trying to find another man. What happened to her dad? And the woman was like, oh, he's in a hospital. So the host takes a pause and like, well, what do you mean he's in a hospital? Is he dying, or
why are you here eating dinner?
Huh?
Why are you here eating dinner and he in the hospital? Go ahead.
So like this is the host of the show, and so she was like, is he dying or something like that? She's like, no. She was like, well, what? Why? She asked her these two questions. Why are you on a dating show if your husband is in a hospital right now? Oh, well, I gotta make sure that I'm taken care of. Set herself first. Baby right there in the arm, I'm taken care of. And this is, of course, it does trickle down that the baby will be taken care of if she's taken care of, supposedly, quote unquote. Yeah, I've seen babies in sandals. Why parents got on $300 Jordans and stuff. I'm like that's just the way. I don't know. But so she just goes on to say, and she's like, oh yeah. She was like, well, what do you mean? Is he on life support? She was like, no. She was like, oh, well, what's happening? She was like, you gotta have a bullet in the chamber just in case everything goes wrong. She said this shit on live, bro.
Wow.
On live. Her husband is laying in the hospital bed.
Wow.
And she was like,
hopefully he's not watching the show.
Yes.
No, I hope he was watching
bro.
the damn show.
She's on an internet live dating site while her husband is lying up in the bed fighting for her life, and she said this with no shame. No shame, bro. That's scary. Now that puts some fear in my heart.
That's why.
Because
that's what.
Never see. You can't foresee shit like that, bro.
That backs up what I said earlier. Is that part of the reason why I'm single right now? Is I'm scared. They scared the shit out of me.
But dude, that has to be the
I'm not done. So she goes on. She's like, so they have like a 30-year age difference. And so my thought was, I'm like, hold on, bro. Why is that the problem now? Why'd you even marry him if it's a problem that this dude is like 60? His money was good enough. It's like there's no damn morals. There's no morals at all. And so she just goes and like she starts defending herself. She's like, oh, dude, this dude is literally, you're on a dating site. She had like 30, I think she has like 30,000 followers or some shit like that. There's a lot of fucking people that just saw your damn face. And you said that shit for everybody to see. Like, goddamn, with no shame. With no shame. None at all. Just smiling, kiki, and shit like that. No, I didn't get mad. That's terrifying, dude. That is terrifying. This dude ain't even passed yet. You're not even worried about the grieving point because there is no grieving point.
Yeah,
there
but I mean, but I don't think something like that would happen to you. That's gonna be somebody that you probably gonna bust wide open and let her go on about a business because you're gonna detect it.
Yeah,
and
probably.
you're gonna vet these women regardless. So I mean, I wouldn't have that type of fear because I'm a energy detector. So
yeah.
I can read certain energies, and I've been around women that we weren't necessarily right for each other, but they weren't bad women or whatever. It's just not my vision of what I see in a relationship or what I want out of a relationship. But I think that's the few, man. Most women not running around like that. Not obviously it exists. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's proof of it. But at the same time, I don't see Curtis, falling for the, the okie doke.
I completely agree with you, Pat, completely. Hey, let's talk about these two comments. He said marriage is a private agreement and women is the nurturer and man is the protector. So what y'all think about those?
Technically, marriage, if you really look at, marriage, y'all worked in restaurants and stuff too, like I did. When you take, you have one OJ that's y'all been using two jugs of OJ, and then I know this.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
It's like, hey man, marry them, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
you pull the little bit that's on top of the other one. So anytime you come together, just having sex with somebody is a marriage. When you come together with somebody just in sex, that's a marriage. So we've turned this into something that is a lot.
I get what Pat's saying. I get what he's saying, but still, legally, it's even more.
But the law, what he's saying, the law is just something that somebody made up that just like a way to
construct
make money out of you or whatever. Like, but what was people doing before? Did they go find a, how did they do it way back in the days? You know what I'm saying? I bet you it wasn't no bunch of lawyers and shit.
I think there was no. I
remember?
I think there was ceremonies. I think they had different ceremonies to make this a special thing. But as far as actually signing,
probably wasn't.
A marriage certificate and all this stuff.
All your taxes is changed.
That stuff didn't happen. That stuff didn't happen until the 1800s.
Hey, you remember that story I told you? It wasn't a story. It was it wasn't really a funny joke, but the joke I was like, well, I don't know why we were talking about the Bible, but I was like, man, I bet somebody just walked into one of those courtyards and looked around and looked at one of his homeboys and it was like, man, we gotta stop this shit somehow. This shit got out of hand. While everybody's over there fucking each other and it's gold and it's money, it's transactions, all kinds of shit happening. Man, none of this stuff is new. Somebody said that this has to be stopped.
Well, no, it was a hate. Look, I'm gonna tell you, it was a hating motherfucker that brought that into existence because it's like, damn, he got all these women, and I can barely, I can't really even keep one.
Make that shit illegal. Take that nigga to jail.
Come sign here, then you can do that. Come sign right here. We gonna need some of your money in order for you to do that shit. Yeah, I could kind of see that. Yeah.
That's the story I heard.
Make that shit illegal. Fuck that. Take that nigga to jail. He got too many.
No, they having way too much fun. Way too much fun out there.
And just think about it
right now.
And just think about it. That it's not a new term to hear tall, dark, and handsome. So, we've always been attractive to any and every race. So that was a problem for some men because like they wouldn't end up getting married at all. They just the idea just the idea that you might be able to, and then also like the whole legal aspect of it was like, well, damn, if we can get them trapped into something, because I mean, I think, I don't, I as far as the whole marriage certificate and all that, I think it was like 1848 when that actually came truly legal. But before that, it was because it's a new.
Think about it, that's not too long ago,
right?
It's a new thing.
And wait, what about birth certificate? That wasn't. What about birth certificate and social security number?
That came after. That was more like in the early 1900s. So most of us, when it comes to like birth certificates, that stuff was written down inside of the Bibles and stuff, just keeping the track, of your family tree. Such and such had this, great grandma was, she kept those records in their Bibles. That's what.
And how many generations? And how many generations ago was that? That was just what great grandparents.
Well, no. I'm saying before that, that's where it probably most likely ended was with our great grandparents.
Yeah,
that's where that cycle ended because now we've got vital statistics. You know what I'm saying? We can rely on the government now to
I think a lot
keep
of people,
those records for us.
They need to understand these kinds of histories because that wasn't that long ago, and people be thinking that certain systems have been here forever. And that they can't change and that they're constant. And I be trying to tell people, you need to learn history because not only can they change, but they just made this shit up. So somebody else can make some other shit up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And all, what was it on Atlanta? And none of y'all watched Atlanta or whatever. The dude was like, he was like, "Hey, you just made that up." He was like, "Everything's made up. Stay woke." And that's a deep ass line, though.
You ain't say, bro. You ain't lying, bro. Like, I mean, it sounds real simple, but that's like that's a big thing. No, it's a big thing. Oh, you said no. It wasn't just to control.
I'm like, really? You think so?
No, I think it was more so. They used women. I think it's more to control men. I think marriage was more to control men, but they used women to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially selling that idea that, especially on monogamy, to be able to, because even though, like, I know my grandfather, I ain't no telling how many different women he had. I'm still finding out about, uncles that I have that I didn't realize was my uncle. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was our, second or third cousin, but he's actually my uncle. You know what I'm saying? But even though he was married, and I guess it was legal by the time they got married, because they didn't get married until I think maybe the 1940s or 50s or something like that. Probably 1940s. So it was definitely a legal thing, to get married. But even though women, pretty much knew, and accepted it, that it was, we as men, especially for men, it's an animalistic thing. And even women, like, they want to be with different people. You know what I'm saying?
And so this is my point. That I think it was designed to control people in general. It's like this structure that they come up with. What a lot of people don't, what I like to try to get people to understand is that, it's how hard is it to control a guy who has no family, and how hard is it to control a guy who has a family? Just that idea alone, just think about the basic simplicity of that. The guy who has no family, and maybe he don't even have no attachment to his job even because of that. And so, like, you try to tell that guy to do whatever the hell, and he gonna be like, "Nah, I'm not feeling that shit." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I go work for such and such down the road.
But if the man has a family, then he's like, "Wait, I got to think about this. I got to think about my family. I got to double think about this and make sure that my family is good." So really, like, okay, think about this, like the spies, right? Because I used to read spy novels all the time. And it's like you have to detach yourself from your family, your friend. You can't have no friends or nothing, because any of that could possibly out you. So you're like a ghost, and you move in and out of environments, and you do have interactions with people, but you're Tom, Dick, or Harry to them. And you don't have no contact with your mom, dad, cousins, or friends for long periods of time. Because you're in the job. You know what I'm saying? You're working 24/7. You don't clock out from this job. So, but again, that's what makes this guy so dangerous, right? Because he's invisible. And also, he's not in this for money too. That's another thing about the spy. He's like national pride, or he's in it for some kind of religious reason, or he's in, some foundational thing is the reason why he's doing it. It's not about money. So that guy is like impossible to control, because like you capture this guy, and what he's gonna do, he's gonna take the cyanide pill. You're not even gonna have time to torture him to get any information out of him. He good. He already trained himself to make this decision. He's imagined this in his mind. If it happens, I'm just gonna go. That's how much they care. They really, really, stand up for what they believe in. So like I say, if a regular ass person walking around, he don't have no family, and he stands up for what he believes in, the government, whatever political structure, or even just the damn HOA comes and tells him to do something, he gonna be like, if he not feeling it, he gonna be like, take a dick, shove it up your ass. You know what I'm saying? But if he has a family, you can, and then look, this has layers, because you know how you can kidnap somebody's family, or you can hold them hostage, because like moms do to their kids, to their dads, a lot of times today. But not only that, like the mafia or like the drug traffickers or whatever, But think about it. If it's a political party or political like a agenda, like the real big wigs, and then they just give you a phone call. They send you a phone call or email, and they be like, yeah, your kid looks nice at that school on St. Emmanuel on
little Rodriguez is having fun playing with little Johnny, and I wouldn't want to really disrupt that. But I will.
And send you a picture or something, and you're gonna be shitting on yourself. You're gonna be shitting on yourself, and whatever the hell, because you got scientists, you got journalists, you got people out there who's trying to do real things. And then those people who know, these people are gonna get phone calls or emails or text messages from these people, and they're gonna be like, hey, I know you feel like you're doing something or whatever, but hey, it'd be sad if something was to happen to little Charlie. And you gonna shit on yourself, and you're gonna do whatever the fuck them people told you.
Yeah, and I mean that is a paradigm that exists daily. Like that's happening every day.
So that goes back to what I was saying about when he said marriage is designed to control women. I say no, it was designed to control all people, because making this family structure this way. Because think about if the family structure was different, if it was more fluid, if we had multiple wives, you had wives that had multiple husbands. You know what I'm saying? And you already have an extended family when you get married, right? Their sisters and brothers become really close to you a lot of times, and their close friends or whatever become close to you. Y'all all become like an extended family. So and then y'all work together also when y'all need stuff too. That's a little community that you have to go to for stuff sometimes, to watch the kids at the very least. So, but imagine if you had 2, 3 wives, or the wife had 2 or 3 husbands, then now you got think about the sisters and all that again. You just multiply. And so the thing is with the sister wives, taking care of helping each other, taking care of the kids together, it gives way more freedom and fluid within the family structure. And also something happening to one person is going to be devastating, but it's not going to be as devastating as the man of the house goes to prison and he was the bread eater. He was the breadwinner of the family. That's devastating.
I still think it was more for men, to control men, because, through history, I really believe that, a lot of the women were, under control just based on, the construct, whether it was under matriarchy or under patriarchy. Men have, I think the high level women, whether they were, queens, pharaohs, or whatever, they probably had, guys they had sex with, or this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm sure, but for the average woman, they follow one man, and they felt, especially when it came to spirituality, the more men they are with, the more they're affected mentally. You can't, you can't live under that construct. So by them using marriage to try to, they're not built for it. But men, they can be with 5, 10, 8, just really think about this part, because one man can have 9 kids or 12 kids, 20 kids in 1 year, but that one woman can only have 1 kid.
And that's what should tell you that the way we do things doesn't really make sense. It's the monogamy thing. What was the dude, the Egyptian dude?
He's trying to keep the damn population down.
Listen, what was the Egyptian pharaoh? He had like 100 kids. They got the record of that shit.
There's no telling. A bunch of them probably did that.
There's an Asian guy now I gotta look this shit up. There's an Asian guy within recent history, like 133.
Oh, that was it? I thought it was like 300 and something.
Oh shit.
How many did Wilt Chamberlain have? Didn't he have a bunch of kids?
Ain't no telling.
So what, just looking at nature, guys are the seed, and women are the earth, right? You know, when you plant seeds in the earth, you usually don't plant one seed because that one may not grow. If anybody knows anything about farming, right?
True.
Every time, and even within the little hole that you make for that plant to grow, you might put 2 or 3 seeds in there.
Yeah.
You want at least one of them to grow. You know? So that's the thing, though. I think that's nature, right? And like I say, we're mammals. So we're forgetting that, and we create this social construct and like I say, it's really limiting us. We're naturally mammals, and that's just what it is. And also the polygamy thing, we still do it. We just lie to ourselves and say that we're not doing it.
I was just about to say, Shaka, what if I told you that was happening right now?
I gotta take a potty break, y'all. I'm gonna play this for a second.
Yes. We're out here, Harbor City. You're sleeping right here. You made yourself a little shack. Tell me about it.
Well, this is mi casa, my home, because I don't have a home like, per se, normal people. Got some issues, unemployed. I don't steal, believe in trying to do right by the other person. So I'm struggling a little bit trying to get housing. I guess I'm waiting. In the meantime, I have to make do with what I've got. And this is what my poor little hands can do right now.
Nobody should have to live like this.
You're right. There's rats, mices, whatever you call them, filthy. They carry disease, and I have to live with them right here. I've been ran out of the shack before by a gang of rats. I mean, just so disgusting, I couldn't take it. But here I am back again because it's the only place I've got.
How do you handle the noise with the cars going by?
Just kind of get used to it, you know, after being out here for a while. I mean, you don't get totally used to it, but you adapt to it, I guess.
It's interesting and sad how humans adapt to things they shouldn't have to, like homelessness.
Very true. I didn't think I had this in me to survive like this. I mean, this took digging down another layer for me to get to understand that a human being can prevail or can survive no matter what the conditions are, as long as there's oxygen and water.
And now we just got to get the public and the political will to fix this to get people into housing. Now, you're telling me when I asked how long you've been out here, you don't remember. It's been that long.
It's been a minute. I would say a good 6 years at least. We started off over in that jungle behind you. For the longest time, at least 2-3 years, nobody even knew that we existed because of the brushes, the covering. Nobody knew until the place kind of exploded. A lot of people, homeless people, found out about it, and they started coming in by the drove.
Homelessness has been growing.
Absolutely.
And people look for a safe spot.
That's why we grouped together here.
Yeah. So I was told that you, not just you, but everybody, the sweeps happen here. Like they moved you from that good spot that was out of sight to over here, and now every 3 weeks they come and sweep.
Yeah, that I don't understand. I understand that, you know, we need to clean up for health reasons and so forth. But why take all our stuff? You know, it's like telling me every 3 weeks or 2 weeks that I've got to start from scratch again. I mean, they take our stuff, or tents, or blankets, I mean, everything. Leave us with absolutely nothing. And then I have to start over again. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm spinning my wheels. You know, if I had 5 blankets and they cleaned up, now I've got one. I've got nothing. If I didn't grab one, I've got nothing. So I've got to go scrounging or trying to raise support for a blanket. It's defeating the purpose. It's like I'm living for homelessness. You know, if you're going to clean us out, help us. Provide some option. Shelters is not for everybody. It's not for me. I mean, I cannot survive or live in a shelter. I have anxiety. I suffer with claustrophobia. I can't be around a lot of people in an enclosed area. That's why I don't go to jail.
People don't understand that shelters suck.
Not only that they suck, but you know, you can also develop a new set of problems going to those places.
Right.
I remember a while back, I got exposed to TP. And that's from being in a shelter. I don't have it, but instead of getting a needle prick in my arm to check, now I've got to get an x-ray, a chest x-ray, every time I check for the TP.
You there?
Yeah, man.
You was listening to that shit?
Yeah. That's you know, that's a conversation that's really always kind of tough for me. You know. Yeah, man. I agree with you on that. That, you know, and I mean, just hearing his story about, you know, his experience through homelessness, and saying that, you know, how they're, you know, like he's pretty much starting over every 2 to 3 weeks, because they'll come do a sweep and pretty much just like everything that they've obtained, you know, the previous 2 or 3 weeks is taken, so that, okay, if they did have you know, a little step forward to where they could focus on something different, it's like, well, damn, now that they come to, I got to go and redo all this other stuff again. So it's just like living a vicious cycle of, you know, he's living, you know, in his mind, he looks more like he's living for homelessness. Like he's just, you know, his efforts is more to being homeless than to be able to focus on something that could actually get him away from homelessness. And the people who, you know, I guess the authorities who come through and do this, they could give a shit less, you know, and you know, it's most likely somebody who's being ordered to do that. Of course, it's not necessarily their decision. You know, if it's, you know, cops or whoever that comes and takes their stuff, you know, they're probably following orders, but at the same time, it's kind of, you know, that another hamster wheel. But you know, the whole idea, you know, with it being satanic, I definitely say yeah, because, you know, what kind of heart could you have to, you know, not only, you know, see what's happening, but not to want to, you know, do something that'll actually be productive for them to potentially not be homeless. You know, shoot. And the I guess the part where he's talking about going to a shelter, you know, you got these homeless people from that's exposed in a lot of different ways to different things. He end up sick because of his exposure.
Because it's filthy in there. It's so sad, I played that because I was thinking about the stories, people telling stories, and you hear all of us told some stories today, but that guy's story.
Yeah,
what did they just say?
What?
The exact last comment. What did they just say?
He said what they're doing to homeless is satanic.
What they're doing to the homeless, because he wrote home, but
okay.
what they're doing to the homeless and poor is satanic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's what I say. Damn. Okay, I misread it the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, because I can go in on this, the structures and all the things that we know that could happen, because, even though, like my situation is a little different, I'm tax exempt, and that's just now. I mean, it just recently happened, but I would contribute. I wouldn't have a problem contributing in taxes, because if they were doing the right things, if they could, if they gave assistance, the proper assistance to people who are homeless or people who have mental health issues.
I think it goes back to that pull you up by your bootstraps argument and that communism, socialism thing. Like, socialism is a slippery slope. Once we start going down that socialism road, we're going to land on communism. So those people out there that's homeless, they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and they need to get their shit together.
Well, yeah, and I mean, to me, it's like, all right, if there's cause and effect. No matter what subject we look at, there's cause and effect. There was something that caused it, and then now you can see the effects of that cause. So in most cases, it's something that the government did or the corporate structures did that put people in the situations that they're in. So if you don't have a solution to fix those, there has to be something, because if you're at the top, you're making big decisions that affect, day-to-day, average Joe Blow. You got to come up with a solution that's gonna be able to, give up more of a positive effect to them on the other side. So, like I said, I mean, I yell it to the mountaintop, because I mean, I'm like, if we still, everybody's paying taxes. The people who, and then especially if you've been working, this guy looks like he's in his 50s, maybe, close to 60s. I'm sure he worked most of his life. He's put into the, into the
whole
economy.
Bunch of money.
He's put into
Pat. Hey, bro. Man, good show, dude. I like the fact that it was open-minded. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to log off. I'm going to talk to Brandon a little bit.
All right, bro. Thanks for your time.
So, I'm trying to. I keep telling him he needs to get on the show, bro.
Yeah, tell him to get on the show right now.
And you do. You know he's got some interesting shit.
Hey,
Chaka. I want to hear it.
Yeah, tell him it's story time, man. Tell him it's story
Chaka,
time.
I love you, baby, man. Hey, y'all be good, man.
All right, man. Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you.
Hey, it's good to see you doing up, baby. Like, I'm proud of you, man. Like, you got your podcast going. Just keep on plugging away, bro. Like, I know if you work hard, good things will come to you, man. Like, you just got to keep building it up, and it'll happen for you. I promise you that, bro.
All right, thank you, man.
Yep.
But anyways, bro, like I said, no need to explain. We look out for each other. That's what the world is missing. That's what we do here. Nah, he said some interesting shit. So
next time, bro.
Y'all be safe, bro. I'm gonna log off. Sorry I didn't get to talk as much as I would like to, but I did listen the first half.
Yeah,
I did listen to the first
time,
half.
bro.
And hey, I'm still sober. There you go. I'm still sober. I told you I was gonna make it. It's 3:00 now. So
good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
I got some catching up to do.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Be safe, man. Be safe, Pat.
Peace.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Yeah, I mean, that comment that Elliot just made, that taxation without representation is a big thing. Like the people who, the people who get away with paying zero taxes are the ones who benefit the most from the people who do pay taxes. We've been having this conversation for a while. So, I mean, the distribution of, because I don't think it's the fact that, they're taking taxes, because, I think there should be some way to fund situations like this. So that's just like Social Security. Like people pay into Social Security for, decades through their jobs, to work, that they've done over the years. And then when they get to a certain age, they expect that they can still live a comfortable or, a comparable life to what they've been living up to that point. So, us having taxes is should be considered the same thing. If you've been paying taxes into, your government, even if you were part of a club, you're part of a church, you've been tied into this church for, 50 years, and you get to an old person and, you can't work no more. You got sick, whatever your issue, your situation is, you should be able to count on those, those systems to be able to, assist you.
You've been paying your tithes every pay period, the right amount.
Man, I know people who have their stuff out, like before they get their they bank automatically take it out when it's payday. I know people who have it set up that way. They don't even wait till Sunday when you show up in church. They might not even show up to church every week, but that money, the church is getting that money every week, every other week, however they have it set up, however they're getting paid. But, if something happened to them, they, for whatever reason, a storm come through and, blow the roof off your house.
The church gonna be like, I hope you got good insurance.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't expect nothing from them, but if they will talk crap about you if you
don't make them tithes,
if you don't pay the tithes.
Letters, they might come show up at your house. Hey, sister Charlie, we noticed you haven't been in church in a while. Yeah.
But I mean,
is there something wrong? Can we help you with something?
But I mean, but we're looking at with taxes where this is something that affects the majority of people. Because I mean, everybody's not going to church. Everybody's, whatever, that system isn't a demand. But for taxes, for most people, it's a demand. You pay these taxes. Matter of fact, before you even get your money, I got my money, or got this, they got this money. But they're using it in places that it doesn't benefit the people who actually are paying taxes. And that's the biggest problem that I see with, our this whole construct we call government.
But these different entities work together and leeching on us, because the church isn't a part of the government, but they definitely leeching the shit out of us. They are another leg of leeching.
Yeah, no, it's because I mean it's all set up the same and with the same idea. It's just different branches of that same. It's kind of like we look at the Democrats and the Republicans. It's one bird, but we got these different wings that's making it move. So I mean, it's the same way with the church. You know what I'm saying? They just maybe they're the claws of the bird. I don't know. It's still part of the same system.
Yeah, I agree, because they got this state religion separate Christian, separate church and state, but it's not really separated. And in God we trust and all that on our money and stuff. And
that's just an idea. That I mean, that's something that they want you to believe to a certain extent. That's for them to be able to implement certain laws into the government that they still they still use like the idea of God when they selling these laws a lot of times. So is it really a separation of church and state?
Right. And then they have acceptable religions because they talk bad about Muslims, but they accept Islam, Christians, and Jews or whatever, and really because it's really the same religion. But if you and then they'll accept some Hindu religions and stuff, but if you something like, let's say, Wiccan, or let's say you Haitian and you like
voodoo,
and you or something else that they would consider satanic or something, you can't run for office. You wouldn't be elected in no position.
But it's a spiritual system. I mean, voodoo is a spiritual system. It's
and
not
exactly
that they've made to they made people believe it's evil. You know what I'm saying? That's really what happened to that. But politics, school, and religion are one in the same. You got that correct. That's I mean, all of it. I mean, they all are part of the system. They have their separate branches, but they all work together. But like I said, I mean, until we really speak up, we really make moves where we can have them to put the money in the right places for the people. Because if this is we the people, they want to use these different terms to get us, to activate us to follow what whatever plan they put in place. They use these terms to get us like, yeah, we the people, but at the as soon as you turn your back, they doing some other shit. Excuse me, my allergies, I've been sneezing like crazy. And I felt one coming on. But we really gotta figure out a way to get this thing changed. And I say this all the time, man. Like, we got to figure out how to get these people out and understand, and the new people coming in to understand you don't do the right damn thing, your ass gonna be out too. Yeah,
exactly. And it's really scary though, because when we think about this like this, talking about, because I don't think about the connection that much, the way you said it a few minutes ago, and like even as the churches, because when we said the churches, because we're talking about the separating church and state, but then when you throw in like the churches themselves as an entity that's leeching on the community, like you go through the hood and it's so many churches, and then you got dilapidated homes and everybody is so poor, but it's 18 churches within a 5-block radius. And people are paying tithes to all of these different churches.
Yeah. I mean, you got to realize, I mean, there's power there, because that's this is something that they use to get inside of your brain. What's up, man? This is a they use that spiritual system, the religion and stuff to control how you feel, how you see things, how you act day to day. And they get you impulsive to the point to where, like, if like, they really control you.
And that's why I say, because if you in any religion, I'm sorry, but there are some that's more free. If the religion is telling you to be free and be open-minded and just like not listen to nobody's dogma, then that's cool. But if the religion is telling you, oh, you got to listen to this guy, you got to go listen to this guy and get your spiritual guidance through some middleman instead of going through God. Because this guy says, when I studied the occult, those systems made more sense. And I be saying, if you grow, you really should study multiple religions and kind of compare them. And once you do that, and it needs to be some non-traditional religions like an occult or voodoo or whatever, so that you can really understand how these systems are designed to control people, So, and if you grow in spiritually, then you're going to grow right out of those systems. You have
Yeah.
to.
Well, and I mean, just think about how they toy with you by making you feel guilty.
You're
You
going
know,
to hell. They tell the babies, that's some mean ass shit to tell a little kid, you going to hell forever.
yeah, eternal fire, dude. That I mean,
That's
that's
child abuse.
that's satanic. I mean, that right there. I mean, you know, on one hand, they're saying that they're working for God, but then they can turn around and use God to, you know, say how badly they'll punish you if you don't do what, you know, they're saying you should be doing.
And the ugliness of it, of the holier than thou as attitude of whatever religion I do, is the right one, and everybody else's is wrong. Whatever, you know, and even within the religion, I'm a Christian. But I'm Methodist. I don't know about those Baptists over there. I don't know about, and look, I'm evangelical. I don't know about them Methodists and them Baptists over there. And look, I'm Catholic. I don't know about them and the Mormons. I don't know about that. And we could keep on going on and on.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that because I don't want to offend nobody, but you know, there's some of these people that really think they're higher than others just based on their sect of Christianity, or you know, like it's ridiculous, and you know, we harm each other. You know what I'm saying? We all live in this world together, and you know, not saying that everybody should be, you know, should even see the world the same way, but when you start using religion to try to make somebody good, I mean, good, bad, indifferent, you know, what are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're hindering other people's growth by trying to tell them, you know, to, you know, put your ideas on them. And if they don't see it that way, then you're condemning them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think we kind of, you know, that might be shifting away from what, you know, what we started with this conversation. But, you know, because we were with, yeah, I mean, we started off with the whole, we started, you know, because we were talking about the homeless guy, and then like how, you know, the money's not being spent the right way, and how the government really is complicit to all of these issues that they have. You know what I'm saying? They made, you know, some decisions at a high level that came down, the trickle down effect that affected these people, whether they didn't have any job, you know. The wife ended up leaving them because you know, they lost their job, and you know, you know, all these different ideas that trickle down from one or two different decisions. Somebody that's homeless, and you know, they've been paying taxes for as long as they could, you know, 14, 15 when you were able to get your first jobs. You know, before you even an adult.
And even if they wasn't, being in the society that we live in, do we really want people to, you know, fall that far? You know, we're a community. We're like I said before, we're mammals. That's a mammal thing. We are, you know, we're social creatures. We pretty much rely. And again, what I said about perspective. We can't make it in this world without other people around us. We don't make our shoes either. We don't make the food that comes into us. We don't even bring it, you know, we need other people. We work as a community. That's how we work, because we're mammals. And we shouldn't, within our community, we shouldn't let anybody fall so far, because if we let anybody fall that far, then anybody can fall that far, including you and me. And it's not okay. It's not okay.
Well, you know, it a lot of, like, you know, you made a comment before, maybe a couple of times, that it just really kind of resonates. Like the reason, like, the government doesn't care about homeless people is it's a reminder to others is that this can be you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you want that to be you? So, you know, that's a real life, you know, way to try to, teach, I guess to try to impress on other people, you better do what we say or else.
And we're going to take your family. We're going to take your job from you. We're going to take everything from you, even to the point where you're going to have nowhere to live. And you ass is going to be under the bridge, washing your ass in the bayou. Looking for something to eat in the trash.
Yeah. And I'm, not to ignore Elliot, the occult, I believe in occult studies, and it's just things that unseen for a lot of people that is misunderstood. Because even Christians have a lot of things, like the Bible itself has many things that's there.
I'm gonna let you finish, but that's exactly what I was gonna say when I looked at his comment about cult means hidden. Yes, that's true. But for the people that can see, they can see it. But it's it's not hidden to the people who can see it. And then all you have to do is dig a little bit and do a little bit of study, and then you can see it. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean everything you just said. You know what I'm saying? It's there's a lot of mistaken things, and that's one of the other faults I would say within the church is that they don't teach the true meanings of like the different levels, because if you go through some esoteric teachings, what you learned growing up is good, but after you get to a certain level, once you've gotten that down pat, okay, let's teach you some other aspects of these same scriptures. I'm saying these various scriptures, they have 4 different ways that you can see this. So
what they say is levels to this shit.
It really is
levels to this shit.
It's layers on top of layers. You know what I'm saying? But if we get into it, that it's this way and that's where we're really denying each other true understanding. Divide and conquer, and they doing that, that's their
that's their
main
what they
goal.
are doing is magic too, because what a lot of people don't understand is okay, let's use the Bible. Jesus, if you will, he was casting spells. He was making shit happen. Like he was using knowledge, that ancient knowledge that these motherfuckers didn't know, and that's why they thought it was magic,
some miraculous thing. Yeah, some miraculous stuff. But
and then the people that powers that be that's ruling the world now, that's the same knowledge that they're using, and it's super old ass shit. Like the Mason type stuff, like basic ass knowledge, fundamental knowledge that hasn't been given to nobody. And there you goes with the occult. You can call that the occult because it's very hidden and it's hard. You have to do digging, and also the problem with this is you have to spend time studying. Like some of these ideas, I could just tell you it right now, but you ain't gonna understand it. I have to give you the context, and then after I give you the context, I have to give you the context for the context.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about even a lot of the temple, like the people who are actually, like, you want to say Masons, Freemasons, whatever, you gotta earn your way to this knowledge, and who knows what kind of stuff they because all those groups are not like satanic or making them do these crazy rituals, but at the same time they make there's some of these groups are even selling them an idea that they're better than the average person because at least this, but you still being held out. They're still holding out on you because I mean there's 360 degrees of learning, and most of them they're getting to 33 degrees, and they feel like they above everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I don't like about it. It's kind of like it goes into the 48 laws of power. It's also this European, this masculine energy or the order energy. You know what I'm saying? Of damn, I lost what I was saying. You know, what did you say? The fuck, I lost.
What the
Yeah,
360
360 degrees, the growing knowledge, like over time, like, and you don't know everything. Like we walk around, that's another thing that religion does. It simplifies everything, like you say, for a child. So like God did it or the devil did it or whatever. Then that just, you know, that way you don't have to think about it. Or, you know, if you just pray, then these good things will happen or whatever, you know, you're going to get that job or whatever the hell it is. It's, you know, or if something bad is going to happen, you know, well, if God say the same or, you know, it was God's will. So, but that's just a way to not have to think about, you know, what's happening. It's a avoidance.
Yeah, because I mean, so, you know, you'll get it from different. You can get it from different places where if you really put, you know, start putting all the different aspects of life together. I mean, that's really what, you know, the Masonic order really is being able to, you know, combine all different kind of studies because it's really just sacred geometry. So, you know, in order to get the 360 degrees, you have to really understand, like, you know, just like you're saying, the God and the devil. Well, it's there, but it's not necessarily plain sight. You know, you got the polarities, you know, good and evil, this, that, and the other. But then, you know, when you can really look at it, you understand there's no real thing as good or evil because, you know, what's evil could be good from one perspective and good could actually be good, you know, evil for somebody else. So, yeah, I don't know what you got me on that one. That 32 degrees is. I mean, I understand that's the freezing point, but I'm not. I'm missing what you got. You know what you're trying to say with the 32 degrees is.
Well, I like what he was saying before that with the mind control in the hood, and he was talking about adding on to what we were saying about the old ass motherfucking knowledge that they're using to fucking do this shit. It's really, you could call it voodoo. You know, I mean, you could call it what you want to call it. It's knowledge of the earth. It's knowledge of the trees. It's knowledge of the, you know.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
really basic knowledge.
Physics. You know, like it boils down to the science of really any and everything, and you have to be able to put it in its right perspective in order to have somewhat of understanding. Because I mean, you know,
and then you got to take your feelings away, like we were saying in the other one, because one thing that holds a lot of us back, looking at shit, talking about emotions. Good and evil, good and bad, God and the devil, and then our emotions are tied up in our decisions, and we're thinking about all this shit, and then, but these people don't think like that. They completely detach themselves from their feelings, and they just use the information to make, you know, but they have agendas. Don't think they don't. They have agendas, but you know, the way they go at their agenda is going to be based on facts and like information and shit, not about how they feel about it.
Because I mean, controlled chaos is a thing. And that's like what they use most of the time, those fear tactics. You know, they know exactly what's going on. They're not disturbed at all because, of course, they've injected those ideas in our minds that's got us all up in arms. And while we're upset about George Floyd or, you know, like somebody that's getting killed in our neighborhood, then, you know, they're still using all of that energy to either get something else done that we have no clue about and we're focused all our energy somewhere else, or, you know, they're actually harnessing it to be able to
I think that's what it is. And I was talking about Monsters Inc. in that movie, how, you know, how it's a cartoon, but the kid's screams or cries or whatever is what was they gained used for energy. And I think that's an allegory for kind of what they're doing. You know, it's a huge ritual, like this guy was saying, where they actually feeding off of people's fear, pain, despair, literally like vampires, like sustenance that gives them sustenance. And this sustenance keeps them living forever and keeps them young and vibrant and all this fucking shit, rich.
And I believe that is true. I mean, because you know, this last statement he made, they may not be, you know, agree on everything, but you know, we could honestly, I think they do agree on everything. It's just that they fighting on what direction, how to do it,
It's tribal.
how to accomplish that goal.
And it's always tribal, like I said, like the moon people or the sun people, or whatever. The niggas on the other side of the room. We don't,
Yeah.
you know.
But like I said, like especially when we're talking about our government, you know, we still talking about that one bird. They have a specific direction.
Their fights are only within, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand about what I be talking about World War I and World War II. You know, other parts of the world consider that as a European civil war. It didn't cover the whole world. Only certain countries was involved in this. European countries mostly, and other parts of the world look at it like that was a European civil war. You know, why do they call it a World War? From their point of view, I guess it was. But to us over here, we're like, we had nothing to do with this. And there's a whole bunch of people over here ain't got nothing to do with this shit either. You know what I'm saying? And it was a European civil war is what World War I and World War II really were.
Well, World War II, I mean, to an extent, I think it was greatly European, but you know, they used allies because of course, like China, you know, was somewhat involved, Japan, all this, that, and the other, because they were actually trying to, you know, like I said, they were trying to hoard different resources that they knew they could get from one easier than they could another. So it was probably more on a power structure between the European nations, but the involvement of the others was because of, you know, them being able to use those resources, kind of like what we're seeing with China in Africa right now. You know what I'm saying? Like they all have a, you know, they're all trying to get to a certain goal. Like they, you know, at one point China was in a position where they're like, you know, pushing for everything the U.S., but now they're a power, you know, they have a power hold of their own that they're like, well, shit, we can be number one. We can be the one that we can make them, you know.
But that's one of the things I said would be different if there was a new war, because China wasn't really a player like that back then. Mm-hmm. But you did have other countries that were big players, but the European powers don't recognize them. And that's how it's been. Like they either beat you or they just don't recognize you. That's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? If they can't beat you, they'll pretend you don't exist. Won't trade with you. We're not trading with you. You can't buy none of our stuff, and we're not buying those. You can't play with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my ball and I'm going. Nobody's gonna play.
Oh, this is one thing I wanted to mention. I was thinking about, because the baseball game is on, but I want to say shout out to all the women and men out there who have to pretend that they love sports.
What?
Because yes, this is just random, but it was a thought I had. A lot of people out there have to pretend. Shout out, I know y'all out there. Shout out to y'all who have to pretend that they're a super extra fan and super into sports, and it's so freaking exciting. Oh my God, it's the Super Bowl or it's the World Series. Yeah! but inside they're like, these niggas is playing with balls like kids play with balls. This is not damn. What is so sick? I mean, it's the same thing happened last season. I mean, it's probably the same damn teams playing the same teams playing each other, playing with balls, like playing with balls like they play with balls at home, like kids playing with balls. How serious is it? I'm so serious about that. Like the football, I love football, but this shit. Like, there's so many more serious things going on in the world. Everybody wants to go watch the World Series,
but are they
and act like it's so important.
My question is,
what's his name is going to the the Hall of Fame? Oh my God, he hit 366 home runs. Oh my God, like the rest, there's a bunch of us out there who gives two fucking shits about that. Go ahead.
It's funny, Africa doesn't.
I think he's talking about the world war shit I was talking about, because that's what it was. Large parts of Africa was like, that's not a world war. What are you talking about? You You know, you also had Hispanics, South Americans, like pinche gringo. You know, this ain't no world war. It ain't had nothing to do with us. I don't know what he's talking about though. He said bread and circus. Bread and circus, bro. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because in Rome, that's what he's talking about. The Colosseum, the gladiators, the lions. They actually went and got slaves to feed to lions. Like they would do random shit to entertain the crowd. You know, they didn't give a damn about certain sectors. It was class structures. So if you was a part of the super lower class, they didn't care about your life, and they would literally feed you to a lion just to entertain the crowd for like 2 minutes. And then they move on to something else super gruesome. You know what I'm saying? And then what did the Caesar say? Just give them bread and give them circus. You know, keep them distracted, because meanwhile we're robbing them out the back like they doing today still.
The clown and the bull, you know, run. You know, they let the bull out, and the clown is running around doing this and that and the other. They got the barrels. They got all this other kind of stuff. Just kind of. I get it.
And meanwhile, they're out leaving out the back door with all the cash, all the resources, anything that's worth anything. Your energy.
And you never know. Like during that time, who really knows? Like while they got everybody at the Coliseum all entertained,
they could have been in these niggas' houses, literally in their houses.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I think I want one. We won't take all the coins. We'll just take one out of each, jar, so they won't barely notice. They went. This family didn't pay their taxes, so then when they come back home, they left a notes there. Remember, y'all didn't pay your taxes, so boom, we just came and got that shit. Like fiddlesticks.
No, they still want you to pay. You got to figure out a new way to come up with some new money. He said he was talking about the nuclear power.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So what do you mean? Related to Africa? What do you mean, though? It says funny Africa doesn't. We got bread and circus. I get that. Speaking of nuclear power, in what way? China being a nuclear power? Is that what you mean? Because I was saying that they're kind of a new person on the scene, new big boy on the scene now. And, we don't even really know what capabilities they have over there because they keep their shit really fucking under wraps. So...
Well, I know, as far as I know, regular military power for sure, they have been racking up for the last few years. Like they creating, islands, fake islands to be able to just to store. And
that's why I say we don't want it. We don't want it with them, bro. China ain't planning on losing no fucking war. They'll be like, okay, y'all want to have war with us? That's fine. We already had a plan for this protocol.
Dude,
goes in, and then look how many people they have in China. Like they could go to war forever. It's like y'all want to go to war? Okay, we'll go to war for 100 fucking years, nigga. We not stopping.
But no, that's what I'm about to say. Just look at their population.
Yeah,
like they can just keep sending in, new groups every month. They got a whole new group that you know what I'm saying, you're going up against. The one that just left out, they on vacation, they chilling,
and like they force their people to go. He said Africa doesn't have a nuclear power. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's because there's a good reason for that. The reason for that is because every time they try to protect themselves, here comes the United States, the UK, Australia, and then France, every fucking body coming to kick. Look what happened in Libya. Look what happened to Libya. Look what happened to Gaddafi.
But that's the thing. I mean,
somebody does. Wait. Somebody does. Northeastern Africa. Somebody does have nuclear power up there. I was reading somewhere about this because they were saying, no, wait. No. I'm wrong. This is what they would call the Middle East. So, in my brain, I'm thinking of that as Africa. So as far as
Africa, that is Africa.
But
that's a part of MENA.
Yeah, but they would call it not Africa. So that's why that statistic would still be right. So because the area I'm talking about is up there, what they would call the Middle East. So yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
that's
this
just what they
country,
call it, but it is Africa.
but this country was saying, look what y'all did to Libya. You know, y'all said, okay, get rid of your nuclear weapons, and then we gonna you cool. We gonna leave you alone. As soon as they got rid of their nuclear weapons, they went in there and kicked their ass. And then look at North Korea. Okay, you see they hate the fuck out of North Korea, and they be talking shit about North Korea, and they keep telling North Korea to get rid of their fucking nuclear weapons. But them niggas like, no. And that's the same reason why ain't nobody went over there and fucked with them, right? That's the reason why they still good. Because if they didn't have the nuclear weapons, niggas, they
would have rushed them by now.
North Korea would no longer exist. It would be an American satellite country. There's other examples out there. And those countries saw that shit that happened with Libya, and they so now this is the thing that's happening. We got a new world nuclear race that's happening. For a while, that was kind of like going the other way, but now it's going back the other way. We're having a nuclear arms race. Is happening as we speak right now. All the countries are scrambling because they know that if they have that, United States ain't gonna fuck with them. So, but then that's leading us to a situation where all these countries have nuclear weapons, and somebody decides to press the button, and then everything gonna go to shit.
Yeah, they used Obama to I guess regain trust in Africa, where any power, because I mean, they've been doing this for centuries now, as far as controlling all of the power that they do have in that they did have in Africa, and they destabilize them every time they see them making some kind of progress. So it was Europe that was all in and out of Africa, but now China, they're doing the same thing. Because they see where okay, there's a lot of still a lot of resources that's there that they can manipulate, but they don't give the people themselves. Because honestly, like I fault a lot of the African leaders for making these deals with what we would say are outsiders in order to make things easy for themselves, instead of them taking the time, building on their own, shutting certain people out, say no, that we need this period of our own to be able to grow and make something for ourselves. And then the people, the high ups, they got since they negotiate and they have a good position, they got money,
and that's what happens a lot. But there's a lot of countries that are doing it the other way. But it's like what you said, though, they are afraid to do it that way because here comes the United States to kick down their sandcastle. I like this comment. He said, well, I want to push against it. He said Gaddafi was a cold piece. And what we be saying in our videos all the time is that, you got good bad guys and bad good guys. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to do bad to do good. Sometimes you got to do evil to do good. So, and Gaddafi is a perfect example for that. He was loved in Africa, and he was loved by a lot of people, but he was hated by a lot of people too, who thought he was evil. And he did do some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a fucking saint.
No.
But coming out of Africa, how the fuck you gonna get anything? If you a fucking saint in Africa, nigga, you dead.
Quick. I mean, if they just get the idea that that's kind of the same thing like what's going on here in America. I mean, it's so anybody that's got a loud enough voice that can, bring people together, what happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, Gaddafi must have been more. I would say he must have been more for good, or more for growth of the people, or at least his tribe, the people that he ran with. It was more beneficial for them because if that whole gold standard would have come about, man, like that would have really brought down everybody at the top within no time. You know what I'm saying?
This comment in it is your domain right here, huh, Pat? Go ahead. He said,
Well, I mean, Really, I mean that's a general statement. I mean, because that's just like that's what a lot of the states were before, the government really got into uh our day-to-day lives. I mean, the average person were the ones who had the power because they were the landowners. They were the ones who, could, you know, what decisions they made, things could actually happen because of that, because they had the power. But that was one of the things that they had to bring down is the wealth of the everyday citizen to be able to get the control
Because them
that.
fucking banks. Because remember, the general store was the bank. You didn't need to go through a bank. They would, the feed or whatever it was you needed, they would give it to you. And, you could pay them later or whatever.
And that was the social credit. They're coming up with this, what they're saying, like a new idea, but it's on a totally different level. But where they had, talking about you having a social credit score, it's mostly to put you at fault or to try to make you out of a bad person. But the social credit at that time was, okay, these people, they know you, they know that you got a farm over here, and this is you're gonna produce some things, and this time of the year might be a tough time, or hey, I know we just went through a bad storm and a lot of our crops got killed, but we need you to stay functional so that we can become, you can get back to where you were, and this, that, and the other. You can be, become strong again. So yeah, those general stores will be like, okay, yeah, I got this, that, and the other. They give it to you or they loan it to you, but it was all together where each one of them made the other better, or
But now they got to go through the bank. It's the bank is the middleman, and that shit crazy, because what a lot of people don't understand, and even here in the United States, and you can say what you want to about the founding fathers or whoever, like Thomas Jefferson, being bad guys, but some of the stuff they was saying was some really good shit. And like Thomas Jefferson, he hated the fucking banks. I might be saying the wrong name, but they a lot of them hated the banks. The banks did like a coup, and they kind of took over because those early politicians in the early times of the United States, they didn't like banks.
I think they found where it could be beneficial to them, because I think Benjamin Franklin, he never became a president, but he was one of those instrumental pieces that, took America to a different level. And that's like, the whole corporatization of the government. You know what I'm saying? That he's one of the main people who, like I said, he was very instrumental. People wonder why he's on the $100 bill and all that. It's because he was really a shaker and a mover in the beginning of all this. But that coup, yeah, it did happen, but that was during the time of Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? When Lincoln,
I think it happened multiple times because they fought the banks back. Yeah, if you study your history, they fought the banks back, and the banks had little power, and then that's when they came back later.
Well, if you look at our history, because I mean, like I said, we had an existing government when all these same players were there. We had an existing government before, what we consider the United States. Now after the 1860s or whatever, we go back to, really go back to the early 1770s. There was a coup where they killed a bunch of the congressmen, which were our people. That was majority black people that was in the Congress that was going in a certain direction, and they held most of the power because this was their land. They were the landowners. They were the one,
I think it happened. I think the battle against the banks has been happening for a long time, and I think that's why they killed John F. Kennedy.
Well, that was late in that process because JFK was in the 60s.
Yeah, and then a little bit earlier was like the Teamsters, or what's the dude?
There was a lot of mafia stuff.
Hova. What's the hell his name? Hoover. Oh, I can't say the damn name right. And that was another time. That was really that time where the banks were, the banks was coming back, and I think that that's another reason why John F. Kennedy saw it happening and was trying to fight against the banks.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he was. I mean, because of course, a lot of them in government, they know the history. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're dealing with law, in most cases, you understand the history better than the average person. So when you really look at it, 1933 is that was what Teddy Roosevelt. He was the one who actually made the deal to allow the whole Federal Reserve come into existence, which was those European banks. So well, yeah, I see own nothing, control everything. Exactly. In a nutshell, that's pretty much what they did. And then they sold an idea that's pretty much what a lot of this is. It's an idea. They was able to take the real resources, hoard them, spread them out between them, each other, and then give still because the system of what we call money now, the currency, is a debt.
And I hate the argument with this damn capitalism shit. Like, well, we own the means of production, so don't you think it's fair that we should get the benefits of it? Because we're the one who bought the factory, we bought the machines, we built the building, and we bought the land for the shit to be on it. So shouldn't we get all the the majority of the profit off of it? Yeah, that sounds really good, except you where did you get that capital from in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Can we find that out a little bit? You know what I mean? Can we talk about that? Did you steal that money? Did you originally use like slave labor or something to get that money?
How did they obtain the land?
And did you steal the land? Did you steal people? Did you how did you get to the point where you can purchase the means of production? That's important. That's important because the reason why that matters is because you might be a thief. You might just be a robber, a bank robber, or whatever.
But look, a lot of it happened because the majority of the genocide that happened on paper. Us, like even us not being landowners anymore happened on paper. New laws that the average person didn't know because the whole tax idea didn't exist before. Because if you really think about it, because I think this was also during the World War II or Korean, I forget what war it was, but a lot of our guys, this is when the women went out to work and they were trying to, they developed the tax in order to be able to bring the troops home.
That was World War II.
So that's where that whole taxation stuff started. And once they started it, they just never ended it because it was supposed to just be able to end the war, get the men back home.
I saw a meme about that recently. They said income tax was supposed to be temporary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like I said, that's a whole nother thing because when you look at the definition of income, that's a corporate gain. Wages is what the average person makes. So said wage tax, they never had any code or whatever. So and they're still to date. There's ransoms out for people to somebody prove to me where there's a law on taxing.
Like, where did it come from?
No, prove the law. Like
I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, where did it come from? Where is it? Where does it say that? Like, where did it come from? You know what I mean? There's nowhere in the books for that shit.
No, and the IRS runs on codes. And there's no law.
And a lot of that stuff related to our insurance, our driver's license.
Ideas. These are just ideas that they were able to sell to people. Mentally, you've usurped it. You have, accepted this idea of how things can and should run, and now you participate. You have, pretty much.
And then they use that shit that they just created to say you're breaking the law. That's what's crazy to me. That's the craziest shit to me. Like, oh, guess what? You have to have a driver's license. Okay, I'll go get a driver's license. That's cool. Oh, guess what? Your driver's license expired. That you just broke the law. I'm taking you to jail.
Here's a ticket. You got to pay this ticket,
and then they just show up. Hey, we just made up this new thing where everybody got to pay for insurance no matter what because it's the law or whatever. It's really to protect you. So yeah, everybody got to pay insurance and whatever and all that. Okay. So and then they come back. Oh, you didn't pay insurance. That's against the law. You broke the law for they take you to jail. You know what I mean? It's like they created this situation from the beginning. Because the thing about the driver's license, I think a lot of people don't understand. And I know this is going to probably blow a whole bunch of people's mind. But why? Why do we have a driver's license? It's like traveling man, right? The idea of the traveling man. And then the driver's license, the license to drive, making you a corporation, making you a driver for the corporation instead of being just a traveler from one place to another. You might not be on your way to work or from work or moving goods from here to there. I'm just moving from one place to another. I'm a human being. I'm not a straw man. I'm a human, and I'm moving from one place to another. Why do I have to have a license to do that?
But see, and that's one of the things, because I guess as a driver, because the first driver was cattle drivers, and that was built on commerce. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's I guess that was one of the reasons why they could use that. But the whole idea of traveling, when you go to work, you're not truly driving to work. You're traveling from home to work. So, when you really get to the definitions of it all, you're not driving. That's just one of the terminologies that they're able to use. Now, mentally, if they show you some policy, some code, some thing that says that, okay, well, this is, and then, kind of throw it in as a law, which is not. But however, if you really understood being a driver, like I said, that's just like, I'm a driver. Me being a truck driver, I'm moving freight. I'm, as a legal, legally that would be considered a driver. Somebody in a four-wheel vehicle, unless you're a taxi cab, Uber driver now, just these days, time and day, you making money to move, I guess you could say any kind of freight, or even moving people, a bus driver, all these things where you can charge money for your movement, that could legally be used as, a driver. But just the average everyday person, I'm traveling to the grocery store. I'm traveling to here, there, or whatever,
Why do I have to show you some, you shouldn't, like, they can just ask you for your driver's license, your ID or whatever, just randomly, because you're traveling to the grocery store. And then because you don't present them with the proper state sanctioned paper ID or whatever the fuck, then they can detain you, take you to jail, give you tickets, all kinds of shit.
And the main reason why they get away with it is, first, I guess the biggest thing is most people don't understand that concept, but most people don't want to go through the argument. It's like, all right, look, how much is it?
Yeah, and they know that, and that's part of the game with the red tape, because that's how they play the game. Because whenever you try to do anything through the government, it's going to be problems. Their website is why their website trash. It's the government website, and it's trash. Everybody knows the IRS website. Go to that right fucking now. It's going to be glitchy. It's going to be sending you in circles and shit. It's trash. It don't even look good when you go there. It look like a prison website or something. I'm just saying, like, That's on purpose. The red tape and then all the problems. So you just be like, man, I'll just pay the ticket. It's a whole lot easier than fucking traveling through miles and miles and miles of red tape.
Yeah. Driving is commercial. Yep.
And what's crazy about that is how we have all like you said, we've adapted this idea. So we've accepted it. So they don't even have to push it on us no more, you know.
Well, over time, see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, because if we raised up and, you know, our mom and our dads, our grandparents and all this have kind of developed this idea that, you know, well, you got to have a driver's license, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. And, you know, you're kind of born into this whole idea of, you know, this is the way you do things. You know, you end up not fighting it because it's not just the government that's telling you this. This is, you know, the
whole
people,
family.
the people you trust more than anybody else that believes this idea. So, man,
he say traveling is an unalienable right, and I agree. And why can I mean it's so crazy, it's so simple that, you know, but like I say, we didn't submit it to these ideas now, and like what the fuck? And then like you try to fight it, you got red tape because you can fight this stuff because thinking about the human and separating yourself from that straw man that they've created, you can fight against this stuff. Because once you start talking about the law, the maritime law, trumping the law of the land, because like you say, there ain't nowhere these penal codes and all of that shit that don't have no root. So everything has to come from a base to really be a thing, you know, that they really respect. But because like if that same thing went to the Supreme Court or whatever, they're gonna be like, you know, if you say the language right, if you use the language properly, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know, that's what it is.
And the average everyday person like that that's just so busy with everything else to be able to study it, to get it, to understand it, to express it, is not gonna be a common thing. So, you know, there's gonna be a rare occasions where there's gonna be people who's gonna fight it, and then that can, you know, beat it and don't necessarily have to, but then you're wasting your day going through that whole process where you still, you know,
And
some
money
people
and time, money and time, yeah.
Exactly, because I mean, for me, I understand a lot of this. It's very, I understand all up. Well, yeah, pretty much all of it. I understand it and could fight it, but a lot of times, I mean, if I'm, you know, gonna lose $1,000, $1,500, maybe even $2,000, depending on the day, from work, and this ticket is $150 or, you know, whatever it is, I'm probably gonna decide, let me just pay this $150 so I don't miss out on this $1,500.
And that to me, that sounds like fucking extortion.
It really is. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but you can decide. You know what I'm saying? You can go stand on your square. You can go through the motions and, you know, do all these things to, you know, where, you know, if you prefer to fight the principle, but at the same time, you know, a speeding ticket, you know, or, you know, a parking ticket and this, that, and the other. Yeah. It says like the movie They Live. I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, I know that movie. Damn, if you don't know it, I'm pulling that trailer up right fucking now. You gotta see this if you haven't seen that. Oh yeah, my God. Fucking that shit, man. Yes, you have to watch this movie because it's showing what society. I mean, this world right now. Whoever the fuck made this damn movie, like these niggas made what the fuck is happening right fucking now, bro. Like with the mask. I mean, with the mask mandates. Anyways, let's watch this damn trailer. Let's watch this shit.
I guess I'm the only one who's.
I can't believe you never, bruh. You could probably find it for free somewhere. It's old as fuck.
Masters orders. What do these things want, and why are they here? You still don't get it, do you, boy? They have recruited the rich and the powerful. They're running the whole show. Wake up! They're all about you, all around you. Blinded us to the truth. Take a look.
They are safe as long as they are not discovered.
I don't know what they are or where they came from, but we gotta stop them. Stay away from me. Put these on. They have us. Look at them. They're everywhere. Our owners.
We have no other choice.
I don't like this one bit. Leave it alone, man. It ain't none of my business. Ain't none of yours.
We have been lulled into a trance.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. We're in trouble. The whole world's in trouble. Control us! You're sending some kind of signals on TV sets.
I've got one that can see.
Mama don't like tattletale.
Now we start spilling some blood. Let's go!
But
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
I kind of remember seeing the advertisement maybe for this movie, but I didn't watch it.
John Carpenter, of course. So okay, so he puts on the glasses, and you can see the people who aren't people, and it's like they're these damn, I don't know, skeleton, like demonoid people, but they look like regular people unless you put on the glasses. But they are a part of like the machine. You know what I'm saying? They're the one that gets the promotion and all of this stuff, and they just keep on trying. You'll get the promotion, but that guy, he's a part of their whole thing. So no, he's not one of you. You're not gonna get the promotion. It's fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, the advertisements. He puts on the glasses and he looks at the billboards or the TV, and it just says obey and like, you know, get married, have a family. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff. So yeah, check that shit out, bro. It's worth a peep. It's worth a peep. When you bored, you know, you tired, you chilling, check it out. You could probably find it for free.
Yeah, I'll check it out. But oh man, I don't know about you. Yeah. Well, yeah.
4:37. We had 3:16.
17.
We could wrap it.
Yeah. We got to do it again tonight.
Tomorrow. So. Yeah. Tonight.
So I appreciate everybody coming in.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Give us some likes. You know, I appreciate because Elliot, I think he's new for us. He's actually one of my friends. You know, we interact quite a bit on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you coming out, man, and being involved. And you're honestly, you're welcome to come in and give your insight verbally. So.
And you don't have to show your pic face if you don't want to.
Yeah, you can just do audio if you prefer. But we're here to have these conversations that are important. We just here to try to uplift. And I don't know if you see the background. We usually discuss a lot of political stuff where we need more people to be active, and in order for things to move in a direction that's needed. We need the like-minded people to really get involved. So however, hopefully we'll see you back tonight. We usually on Fridays and Saturdays come in pretty late, after midnight, maybe close to 1 a.m. But we're usually here giving it up.
Yep. So come and join us. Join the conversation.
Yep. So
yeah, man, I'm tired.
I'm gonna step on out of this place, and I'll see you tonight, man.
All right, man. Peace and love.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna play a song to wrap it up. Because I could go on. I had some more stuff. I'm going to save it for the next show. Let me play my trend. And I'm going to play a song to wrap us up. So thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for your time. You know, you guys make the show. So I don't have a show without y'all. Thank y'all for listening. You know, thank y'all for making comments. Everyone who made comments. So peace and love. We're going to see y'all tomorrow, man. Come back. Try to make the show. Give y'all something good.
Yeah, this is what it is. It's what it is.
All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. I done played the block and it's time to stop. Pop the blocks, then drop the top. Bunny how to say fuck, got they keep it hot up on my block. Keep it not up in my pocket. You know the G and it can't be stopped. Flip the script with serving dip. Keep the heat on Silent Hill. You know when I know that pure water just so cold. Riding on foes, slamming wood dough. Sipping on drinking, fucking these hoes. Riding on bowls, pushing kilos. Me and my boys ball out of control. Got so much ice you can balance Super Bowl. Me, Lil G, I can't be hoe. Look at my mouth, see number go. Fucking with a knife, we'll make you fold. Look at my room, see number polo. Step in the bed and in the studio. Over your nose and smell of smoke. Over your mouth and start to blow. Now you know we got that dope. Cause me and my boys ball out of control. We keyed up and G'd up. We should have lost straight speed up. We should have decided to pull my heat up. Lost things going big, I'm fucked up. Nigga, we keyed up and G'd up. Once you lost straight speed up. We should have decided to pull my heat up. Lost things going back, I'm fucked up. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle.
Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. Bustin' up, bustin' back with a gap that spits venom. You sitting black. And when the bottom of the knife and it's smack, he bleeds.
The cat's waxing him back.
Cause he ain't suffered enough, hustled enough, scuffling cuff his hand to a cop. Nothing discussed, cutting his nuts to his cock. Something to shock a spark out your heart when you stop jogging in the park. And you meet a nigga dog that fighting ball, blood spilling on the sidewalk. Staying in the light is smart despite staying on course, of course. Cause the smell of death escaping out of corpse is rough. Top half man and I be damned if they bottom half horse. Hush, lost souls rushing to touch the black hole, wishing to be dust gagging and fuss. Cause the demon face leaking pus.
All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. Trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. Out trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. Out